Breaking news, everyone. Breaking news, everyone. Stand by for more to follow. It was reported on Twitter approximately 1 hour ago by Ian Rappaport that the 49ers quarterback Sam Darnold was named the team's number two quarterback per me and Tom Pelissero. I'm sorry that if I butchered that a little bit. He'll be back up to Brock Purdy to begin the season. Um, I kind of, glanced over it a bit because I just figured it would, we're going into the rotation as we would normally go for. I was thinking in terms of the game, but missed out on the key preposition being begin the season, not the preseason. This further puts the future of former number three overall pick Trey Lance in some doubt. I was then watching on with TED Talks and Gina, and they kind of were veiled in, they had obviously heard it just before they went out. And then I switched over because they led breadcrumbs into there's some big news. I then on my TV flashed up the great Brad Graham, who was given a dissertation on Brock Purdy's miss or non-throw to Jawan Jennings, and he broke out the same in reference to Ian Rappaport, very, very credible source, and Tom Pelissero, very, very credible sources, them giving this news, further putting the future of Trey Lance very much in jeopardy, per se, in terms of how we are perceiving him in being quarterback three on the depth chart. And now with him being quarterback three and being so much, uh, surrounding this pretty incredible young man, I would say half the fan base really is crazy about him. Uh, that got me to wondering a little bit. And then as I'm following back up watching uh, Gina and Ted at the same time, but having Brad on at the same time. Brad breaks the news, and Coach Yak has it too. I might share my screen. No Trey Lance at practice. Practice is going on right now at San Francisco 49ers, as reported 16 minutes ago by both Matt Barrow and Coach Yak. And yeah, this is happening like as we speak. And forgive me if I'm a little bit choppy right now. This is my first kind of breaking news thing I have done as a content creator, but I wanted the need to get to you guys as soon as I can. I see some other content creators are on. Crocky's on as I'm quite sure my big brothers in content creation will come forward in just a bit. I seen Nothing But Niners will probably have something on as well, but I just wanted to get it out to you guys first and see if it's anybody in the chat who is jumping in. I see East Coast Red and Gold, which I am scheduled to be on. East Coast Red and Gold, we are a go for tonight. That will be in exactly uh, 4 hours and 5 minutes. We were going to talk depth chart. We were cutting it down to our 53, or how we're going to project 53. That's going to be with you and the Culps and the crew, Maddie B, Deb, as well as Ty. I think we're going to have a little bit more to talk about content creation. David Corona, I see you in the chat. Hey, what's up, Bebop Jones? What's up? Hey, man, talk about it. Talk about it. Bebop Jones, that's what I want y'all's natural reaction right now. David Corona, what's up, everyone? 49ers all day, every day. Yes, sir. What's up, Dave? Dave giving all he got in East Coast Red and Gold. That's Jess. She's saying go Niners, and we are going Niners. Hey, Terradome. I love Jess. Jess is my man. That's my girl. I told her, is she is the way she loves the offensive line. Uh, just is a staple for me. Yeah, this one came a little bit out of nowhere. I had a show. Uh, I guess it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? I do Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 o'clock East Coast time, and I was talking about the divisiveness within the structure of the fan base, and just felt so much stride. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, man, maybe and then I just put the thought away. Maybe somebody got to go. I was thinking that to go on, something really probably has to break, but I quickly dismissed it. I said they're not going to do that. Trey Lance is too much of a talent, but when you're not showing up to practice, uh, that's probably because we don't want to risk any injury. Um, we're looking at probably moving to somebody else's. You never want to risk injury to a proposed trade to a player. So the first thing you do is not play him, not dress him, or not practice him because you've got something in mind. The other team has something in mind. It it is what it looks like. That's that's usually the tea leaves. I'm not saying it is this at this particular junction. It could be uh, maybe Trey Lance took a personal day, whatever, what have you. But with the conditions being set, the confluence of things, and what I've seen in my knowledge of the National Football League, we don't want to risk anything happening to you. So what they do is not practice you, not play you, and keep you on ice so that team doesn't have any problems with physical hangups or anything. You're not damaged goods when you come to clear medical for the next team. That's usually what it is. I'm not saying that it is. And I'm just a little bit floored what's going on and what have you. I am going to open up the chat. Let me drop the link in the chat. And if anybody wants to come on, jump on by all means and holla at your boy. Help me through these pressing times as I had to, and I always had, I thought I was going to use this for when Nick Bosa signs, but I had in advance this little thing. I probably need to put some music on it, but here we go. Isn't that nice? I thought ahead, I always wanted to be like Dan Rather, your intrepid reporter. And that's why y'all see the little tag in there, the intrepid reporter. My man, David Corona is on. David Corona, I'm gonna bring you on up, buddy. Let's talk about it.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what it is, man? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
So what do you think of the tea leaves of what's going on right now, man? What do you think?
Man, it's going crazy. Uh, if Trey Lance is not practicing,
Oh, you got a little stuck with your internets. You're in the metaverse. Come back to us, Dave. Can you come back to us? Come on, Big Dave. You got a corona. It ain't got the virus, is it? I couldn't help it, y'all. I gotta make a joke every time I get a chance.
can you hear me?
It ended up. I can hear you. You're frozen on your screen. Oh, there you go. Okay, bounce on back. What do you think?
I'm at a doctor's office right now.
Oh, you on medical Wi-Fi? Hey, I know how that is, man. It sticks and then it don't stick. Uh, your thoughts on it as long as I got you. What do you think? He's stuck. He's at the doctor's office, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Dave, you got a weak signal here. Let me put you back in the. I'm gonna put you back on the plug, and then we'll. If I see you moving around, I'll bring you back out. And if anybody else wants to jump on, man, please by all means jump on. And right now we're talking about the news that Trey Lance was moved back to third string, as well as did not participate in practice. He was not at practice today, as reported by. Let me see if I can put that on there. Should I put my Twitter account on? Is that normal? We'll take a shot on it. Where's my Twitters? There it is. I can look it under Twitters. This is what I am looking at and how I am looking at it. Let me share my screen. Trey Lance. Boom, blam. Let's see what we got and share. And this is how I'm looking. I hope everybody can see that. I'll try to make it a little bigger. Let's see here. Oops. Let me present. Share screen. Love working with technology. There it is. Okay, yeah. Going back through the timeline, you go back and forth. This is where I first seen it. That was Ian Rappaport with the rap sheet timestamp about approximately an hour ago, where the first news came out of the 49ers naming Sam Darnold as number 2 for the season, not just for the preseason, but for the season. Number 3 overall pick, Trey Lance, is in the future. This further puts the future of former number 3 overall pick Trey Lance in some doubt. And then this is Matt Burrows and Coach Yak, who are again, they're at the practices and stuff. That's why I don't trust the national media. I only trust those guys who are really at the practices. But they said, hey, no Trey Lance at practice. No Trey Lance at practice. And this is some guy with Trey Lance's burner account, and you know how that is. That's probably like a KD situation. And if you look over to the side here, I always have what's trending in sports. I got to check out Sterling Sharp. That's my dude. That's Shannon Sharp's older brother. Nick Bosa is trending as well. Let's get a twofer. It is Kobe Bryant's birthday, by the way. Today's a great day to sign Nick Bosa. Hey, yes, every day's a great day to sign Nick Bosa, y'all. Every day's, but let's stay on schedule. If you don't have any news, don't bring it on Twitter. Tom Palmacero, who I don't follow, which probably got past me. I will follow him now. But just looking at the guys, there was no presence of Trey Lance today. So, we're in the mix for all of that. I think Dave left the chat. If anybody else wants to jump in, we got some other people that have jumped in. We got Carcast 49ers, man. Yo, Carcast, what's up, my man? Dave, what happens? Hey, yeah, Dave, it's what happens. You in the Wi-Fi there. East Coast Red and Gold, who I will be on tonight. That's Jess. I will be on tonight in less than 4 hours. We're gonna toss up the 53-man roster. We're gonna be on with the great Bryant Culp and Tony Culp. They are a power couple for the San Francisco 49ers content creators, and we're gonna have a really good time. It was gonna be interesting initially, Jess, but now it's really gonna be fun. Ain't nothing like them giving you some news. Shouting out to Bebop Jones. I'm looking at flights now, Newark to Pitt. Go Niners. Oh man, yeah, you're gonna be there. I am scheduled to be there myself, my brother. I plan on being there or being circled. You see, I switched that up. That it's usually be there, be square. So we're gonna do some things with the 49er Rush podcast or Rush Road podcast with John Chapman, Wayne Breezy, and things of that nature. So sign up for that, man, so we can get up have a good time, man. Eat a couple pieces of barbecue. Get a Ben Roethlisberger. That's what I'm gonna try to do. And let's have a good time up in Pittsburgh, man. Try to turn that that black and gold into the real old gold and red. That's what we're gonna try to do it there. But again, I am breaking the news that Trey Lance was not at practice today. Uh and he had been moved to third. The tea leaves and conventional wisdom says that the way it usually goes, you're trying to hide him. You've got a trade partner in hand, set. The deal looks like it's gonna go. It's ready to go, and that's how it usually go. It could be Trey's just taking a personal day. It could be Trey just uh whatever would have you. He just needed a little time off or something to that effect. And I had to run to, the aid of a family member or something like that. We don't know everything, but I'm saying in terms of how the news has progressed uh and come out and what I know as conventional wisdom in what I've seen around the NFL, you usually want to protect the investment or protect the trade so you don't practice a guy or you don't play a guy that you have moved down in the depth chart who has value. That's usually how it goes. Um, I was just trying to get feedback from everybody who's in the chat. That's mainly this is going to be pretty much impromptu. I came on 10 minutes to 4 on the East Coast time. That's 15:30. Oh, no, no, it's 15:50 military time there, and I've been on about 15 minutes. Again, I've dropped the link in the chat if y'all want to come on and say anything, anything. Boy, they taught me some stuff in got some skills. Happy birthday, Kobe, man. Yes. Bebop Jones, man. My dad's birthday was the 21st of August, and Kobe's is the 23rd. And I always, for whatever reason, my heroes are usually my my favorite players are usually around somebody I really love. Uh, their birthdays are. That's how I kind of keep track of everything. My wife's birthday is October 15th, while Jerry Rice's is October 13th. My dad's is August 21st, and Kobe's is August 23rd. The great Bill Russell is February 12. Mine is February 10. Michael Jordan is February 17th, and my Uncle Charles is February 20th as well. So it's always like plus or minus around there. And I just, for whatever reason, when I really identified like and see something in a guy, their birthdays are really close to in or around plus or minus 2 days to people I love. And Kobe Bryant was just my dude. And as fate would have it, my granddaughter was born on 8/24. So it's Bryant Cole. And I I told my she's my stepdaughter, but you feed them long enough, they're yours. I told her to name her Kobe because he wore 8 and 24. And she says, no, I ain't, I ain't no Kobe fan. I ain't doing that. So what she named her was Ryan, right? And if you took the B and the T off of Ryan, off of Bryant, it spells Ryan, right? So inadvertently, look at God, right? The baby's born 8/24. I have those jerseys. I can't show it to you. My camera's fixed, but I got them on my wall right there. That 8 and that 24. So I celebrate 2 days for Kobe. 8/23 and 8/24. He probably would have wore 23 too and got two jerseys retired that way, but he was like, well, that's Mike's. So I'm gonna just kick it up to 24 because you know how he was. I'm better than Mike. So hey, that's Kobe though. Hey, what you gonna tell him? Hey, Kobe, you think so? Um, again, y'all, we were just discussing the breaking news of Trey Lance not being at practice today, as well as the reports by Ian Rappaport and Tom Palacero of you know, and again, I was on my way from the chiropractor. I was just realizing that they had a feed, they had uh, um a presser with uh, with Coach Shanahan, with somebody really trying to hone him down to, are you going to say who's the first, second, and third quarterback? And he was real evasive. In political circles and particularly in military, you have to be evasive with your, with your question. People say, "Oh, you're sitting there lying," but you just tell the truth, but you kind of fiddle with it a little bit. And he was saying, I'm not gonna say one way or another. He said, I might wait till the last 90 minutes or the last day I can possibly say to name a game. And that's kind of a Kyle Shanahan strategy, wouldn't you say? Kyle always likes to be a bit coy, a bit deceptive. Uh, he's that way in his play calling, I should say. I don't want to really call out the man one way or another, but he kind of lives life through his play calling. It's made up based off of deception and keeps the defense off balance, whether it's the play action game, whether it's the run fits, whether it's the wide zone, whether it's the counters, whether it's the traps. He gives you a Decepticon of weaves to get to his main point, and he narrates it, setting you up for the big finish at the end, right? And from what I've noticed in the last, it's at 2017, we're at 2006 years, it's been a lot of evasiveness, movement here. Yeah, watch this over here, and then I'll do that over there. Even with the media, he would say something like, yeah, everybody thinks I'm going to get Mac Jones, and then I bust out and hey, look at me over here. Now I got Trey Lance. So he he kind of makes it a way of life. So I I listened to his answer about when they were trying to hone him down in the presser was just yesterday. Who was asking him the questions? I don't know if it was the great Larry Kruger, or I don't even know if it was Grant Cohen or somebody just trying to really hone him down on who's it going to be? Who's your number one? Who's your number two? Are you going to declare that? And again, thinking Kyle, he didn't want to tell anybody. And I think I wasn't on the show, but I was listening to him, and they said Kyle probably wants to be a little ambidextrous in sometimes using Trey as the number two for that week if we have a style of quarterback that is similar more to Trey's traits, and then flipping it back and using Darnold one week, and he'll be number two because that could be, who we're facing. If we're facing a quarterback more like Donald, they'll get the reps with the number twos. They'll give our defense a better look. And I was kind of prescribing to that theory. That sounds like about Kyle. But then lo and behold, I'm just watching, trying to get a little nap, and what happened here? Just a bombshell. Yeah. David Lee, my birthday is with Bill Cosby and hit on Carmine Galente. Oh, let me see. Carmine Galente. I'm not too sure about Carmine Galente, but I do know Bill Cosby. What date is that, Damian Lee? Shot back out at me. And if your birthday is near, happy birthday to you. Lord ADS Shanahan ruins another BQB's career. Backup quarterback's career. What other one did he ruin? Was that like well, I guess you could say Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard, or I don't know. I did a deep dive on I did like one of my first shows is Kyle Shanahan the I like him too. DeAndre Hopkins of coaches. And looking back, and let's look at everywhere he's been a quarterback coach and or offensive coordinator. He's had pretty decent success with people. Um, in Houston, Matt Schaub before Kyle Shanahan got there wasn't all of that, right? But he made Matt Schaub kind of a hot name, if I can be so bold. Matt Schaub went to 66% throwing, and I think he had like a 30, maybe a 4,000 yard uh season. You go back and look at Atlanta. You had Matty Ice, who was aesthetically, when I looked at Matty Ice, and this was when I really started to study the aesthetics of quarterbacking. Um, I was studying the great Tom Brady, and I was following Dr. Tom House. Dr. Tom House is just so scientifically phenomenal. Everything we were talking about quarterback mechanics, I've been on for a minute. I'm a golfer, so I know what it is to film and look at static positions, and I'm big into biomechanics, and that's just my forte. I get a little crazy with it. I think everybody's got a technique and can get better at everything if you do the right technique. So I just started just deep diving into what is separating Tom Brady from everybody else. So I just jumped in there trying to get something better for my edification on why I really think Tom Brady is good. And it led me to he works with a guy named Tom House. So I started really digging on Tom House, finding out everything about Tom House. Tom House, everybody remembers the indelible mark of 715. I bit my tongue. 715 when Hank Aaron hits the home run for the Atlanta Braves, right? Hank Aaron played for the Atlanta Braves, and this is way back. This is for y'all time here. I know y'all a little, y'all a lot of y'all are younger than me, even though I don't look it. I try to stay up. Um, but Hank Aaron hit 715. He hit 715. Yes, that broke Babe Ruth's record. The guy that catches it was in the bullpen warming up, but everybody was watching Hank Aaron hit that. The guy that catches it and brings the ball to Hank Aaron is Dr. Tom House. He was a relief pitcher, a closing pitcher back for the Atlanta Braves, a journeyman, if you will, way back in the day. And it had to be way back in the day because Hank Aaron breaks the record, I think, in 74. I can't really remember it live, but I remember it as dad, had me watching a lot of baseball and plenty of football coming up. So I was 4. I kind of somewhat remember it, but they would show clips of it over and over and over again. You can pull it up on YouTube. Um, Tom House, after he retires, he goes and studies biomechanics at institutions, and he starts helping pitchers and relief pitchers throw with more efficiency and not trying to throw their arm out because there were alarming Tommy John surgeries that were needed and stuff. He works with long story short or short story long, he starts working with the great Nolan Ryan, who went on to like 45 years. He was still throwing heat at 44 years old. And any of y'all who are real young, look up Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was still throwing 100 miles an hour at over 40 years old. And then he got out one time, and a young buck came out there and challenged him, and he puts him in the headlock, and he gives him the business, man. Nolan Ryan was one of those old cats that still get you. He's tough. But he worked with pitchers, And then he started working with quarterbacks. And some of the most notable quarterbacks he worked with were Matt Castle, the very accurate Drew Brees, and Tom Brady. And I was seeing how, you know, he said when Tom Brady came to me initially in the early 2000s, he would miss high all the time. He missed high. And he shows you with his biomechanics why you miss high. What causes you to miss high? Where must a quarterback be to be aesthetically perfect in release, in the, in the hip to shoulder disassociation? He just opens it up to me totally, and he'll open it up to you. So um I'm just a big Tom House fan. So I just started studying the aesthetics and the biomechanics of quarterbacks, which led me to start studying more things on golf, even shooting. I look at Steph Curry's shot and look at how he's doing it. I'm looking at I'm so deep in the woods sometimes, man. I get lost in it. So, don't mind me, but I know what I'm looking at in terms of aesthetics. I thought Trey Lance went to a better quarterback coach uh, with Jeff Christensen to get a little bit better this year. So you saw his progression. You saw how he was. It was a lot different than that elongated delivery he had in the first couple of years. Because I was on Twitter saying, "Hey, man, you really you got some problems. You really need to work out a couple of aesthetics. Go get with Tom House." Uh, and I got receipts. They on the phone. But in any event, we're just looking at where we are now. And some might say that Shanahan has messed up another career, but where did I start? Matty Ice had very, very, very good aesthetics, a lot like Tom Brady, a lot like Drew Brees, a lot like the smoothest aesthetic and the most efficient aesthetic as throwing a football you ever want to study. Y'all look at Dan Marino throw that football. Dan Marino was he's like a Ken Griffey Jr. hitting a baseball. Dan Marino was just efficient, man. It sizzled out of his hand. They said it made money. Let me see what up, Lord ADS. He was like, he said, Black QB brother RG3. Yeah, RG3, man. That was unfortunate. RG3 took that injury. Haloti, was it Haloti Nata that got him? I think it was Haloti Nata, or remind me, it was a big brother from Baltimore that got him. I think it was Haloti Nata. Um, yeah, he was on the run, man, and got his leg peeled up on. Uh, really tore up his knee. But a lot of his game was predicated on his running. And what I will say, Shanahan and Mike Shanahan did for RG3, because I always keep one eye on the Redskins. I'm a Virginia guy, and I ain't supposed to say the Redskins. Lord, the Washington football team. They was the Redskins then, but I keep one eye on them because that's a lot of my family's up in the Richmond area, in Doswell, Ashland, Virginia. So I look out for them. But what I will say about him and his dad, they employed to the strengths of RG3, and that they went back to Baylor University where RG3 was, and they found out, how did this pistol work? What works for him? What are the routes that he felt good with? And where are the openings that we can implement what we do well to give a mesh of, let's find some commonality in making him as best as he can and as comfortable as he can, and making it efficient and being in our quote unquote offense. So, we always say, are you employed to the strengths of your players? I think they went out and did that. And some would say you just ran them into the ground. Well, if you to talk to RG3, he was like, man, I want to get out there. I want to get out there. And True. Sometimes you have to save a player from himself because your competitive instincts will take over. You see this in boxing a great deal. Uh, if I could get a movie reference, in Rocky Four, when Apollo Creed said, "No, don't stop this fight. Don't stop this fight." And his wife's out there yelling, "Stop the fight! Stop the fight!" And Rocky doesn't throw the towel, but the Russian came with that overhand right and knocked Apollo out. And you knew it was bad because Apollo, whenever a man falls forward, face down, get knocked out, he ain't never the same. And in that picture, Apollo died, man. But later on, his son comes back as Creed. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone, man. Y'all know I'm a movie guy. All right, Carmine Galente, my boss, July 12th. Carmine Galente, Carmine Galente. Yes. Uh I watch The Godfather of Harlem, and Damian Lee, give me a ding, ding, ding if I'm right. He was Bumpy Johnson's contact in Harlem back in the early 60s. Uh, he was with the Gambino, maybe the Colombo crime family. Uh, Galente, and riddle me this: did he act crazy to avoid federal prosecution? Did he go around walking around in a robe to act like he was mentally disturbed and to try to avoid, the federal prosecution? Just drop it in the chat if your boy know what he talking about. Just and if you deep into it, La Cosa Nostra like I am, you're gonna give me some shots. I see you. He means RG3. Yeah, there you go. Kyle Oifer. Great show. Psalm 62. God bless. Jesus is the way. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Thank you so much, Kyle. Kyle, you know where I'm at, my man. Yes, he is. I talked to my apostle yesterday. I got, some personal things going on, man. And he just said, man, hang in there. Every great man's got to go through something. And you're not worth your salt unless you do. Um, that's how you test things. Um, way back in the day, they didn't have these sophisticated means of finding out what your purity levels are, like we have today. Uh, they had to put what they thought was gold into a pot and heat it at various uh, temperatures, and what were the impurities would burn off, but what was left was pure gold. And it takes that sometimes to find out the purities in your heart. That's why we have to go through what we have to go through. And it seems unfair. It seems uh, disenchanted. It seems levels of betrayal. It seems levels of offense when it's happening to you. You can give somebody else a prayer and say, "Hey, yeah, I'm with you," but it's a lot going on. But when it is you in that hot seat and you're going through some things, know that it's merely a test to find out what is pure in your heart and what will come out, because it will come out. Having hope and having faith. Faith is forward action in trusting Him, and hope is having only a positive expectation. When it comes through, you're going to come out as pure gold. So thank you so much, Kyle, for that. Everybody gets a sermon out of Hugh sometimes. Terradome, that's me. Crazy Juice, sup Terradome. Hey, Crazy Juice, man. Good to see you in the chat, man. I'm doing this intrepid reporter breaking news thing right extemporaneously. Like I took that college class, and I guess I'm getting my credits back. Devate 3 Deku reports are coming out that Lynch has been shopping Lance since the beginning of the offseason. Explains why he never got a fair shot. Um, hey, that's fair. I think a fair shot or opportunity is it's kind of it's what you make it. Uh I think they can a lot of us wanted it to be a one for one. Okay, Trey, you're in this series. Okay, Brock, you're in this series. Okay, Trey, you come back this series. Only with the ones I want y'all to have the same personnel in everything and go against the same defense and make sure they got the same amount of Gatorade and power. And we got to run the same play at them that we ran for them. And you never really get to do that. You know, it's kind of impossible with the comparisons with a lot of people were saying, and I push back on what you said, Devontae, but you just have to really maximize and give the most of with what you have when you have it. Uh, One could say, they never really gave Brock a chance coming in as a seventh round rookie. He ain't had but a couple of reps here and there. They thought he was going to be a camp arm. You're Mr. Irrelevant. You're a little shorter than the rest of us. You're the runt. You're the last pick. You look like your socks are bagging down like Sidney Dean and Woody Harrelson and White Man Can't Jump. And all he had was 3 or 4 reps in the season, in the preseason. And lo and behold, he sends Nate Sudfeld packing. And then when his number is called, the man just go out and just execute what you wanted him to do. It ain't much more you can do. But true, Trey Lance came in here as I think we were real married to the fact that we gave up so much for Trey Lance. He's got to be the guy because our people wouldn't make a mistake like this, would they? But and I'm not saying that it's a mistake. They saw a project. They saw raw tools. They saw 6'4". I think he's 6'4", 225. Didn't turn the ball over his freshman year of college, but it was an FCS school. He didn't play his sophomore year except for one game, and he's very, very smart. And he's, he light skin, got curly hair, just like Patrick Mahomes, which we didn't give Patrick Mahomes a chance. And my personal favorite, I guess the massages mess him up, but but I was a big Deshaun Watson fan in 2017. In 2015, I was a Deshaun Watson fan. In 2014, I was a Deshaun Watson fan because I lived down here in Southern North Carolina. Hey, I know that's a bit oxymoron, but we get all the Clemson games. So I've just been watching this kid and watching this kid grow and seeing him. And it came time for us to get him with the number 2 pick overall in the 2017 NFL draft. The San Francisco 49ers select Solomon Thomas, Stanford University. Anyway, yeah, I'm agreeing with you, my man. I know it feels like they really didn't give him the opportunity or the one for one, but in the grand scheme of things, you really just gotta blow him out of the water with your chance. You just gotta make him. You have to make the decision for him by your efforts and your performance when they can't make up their minds. That's what I'm saying. And Baltimore defensive end Haloti Nata. It was that. Thank you, Lord ADS. Amen. Thank you so much, man. I was close. Uh, the only other one I know of who's close to who's the one that plays in Tampa now, whose tooth came out one time. He was he's tough as nails too. We played him last year. That's not is that Haloti Nata too, or I get him a little bit confused. Y'all can drop it in the chat, man. He's bad too. They might be the same guy. They both for one techniques. Fishing are relaxing. Fish are relaxing. Fish are relaxing. Hey man, fish fishing is relaxing. I know it is, but I don't ever get a chance to get out there, man. And then my boys, I think I'm janky or something. My boys, some of the boys at church, they go fishing there, and then they show me the pictures on Facebook. They don't tell me they're going fishing. I'm like, well, you could just gonna talk about sports all the time. They about to go back to the Redskin name, laugh out loud. I don't know, man. I don't know. Magic Johnson involved. They can't do that. I think it would have been real dope if they would have went to the Washington Warriors. It has a wonderful ring. I don't know why they didn't go there. The Washington Commanders sounds just what come on, come on now. What is that? What is that? But my cousin and great people, man, who love it. My uncles and stuff, they love those Redskins, and they felt good with it. But I'm like, I don't feel good with it. From day one, when it comes to Shanahan regarding Trey Lance, this has been a sugar show. Look at that. I had to censor myself. A sugar show from day one. Kyle ruins another backup quarterback's career. We'll see. We'll see if he goes somewhere, balls out and flourishes. Hey, Kyle is stuck with that egg on his face. Fish are relaxing. Good take. RG3 openly puts that on him. He's the one that was running. They ran him some, but a lot of that was on him. The Shanahans did everything they could to help RG3 adjust to the NFL. Uh, I do say that I never, real stoic guys, real stoic, stuck in their way, folks. They don't go back to your college and say, "Hey, let me help you out." Let's do this and let's do that. Let's see how you felt good in college, and we're gonna do it here. I came up with, hey man, it was some hardliners, man. Guys like you know, Dan Reeves and it was a dude up in Minnesota, man, a former Marine named Les Steckel. You know, look, this is our system. You better get it, or you're not gonna play in the National Football League here, son. You understand? It's the big leagues. We don't do it like that down here. I never remember, and you'd be hard pressed to find coaches that go back to a kid's college and incorporate some of that in their new offense. If y'all can do it, please drop your list in the chat, and we'll, you'll shut up Terradome for a minute. But they usually don't do that. Who else I got in here? Is that Brian Cobb? Hey, man. Hey, I hope you was getting your 53-man roster ready. They shuffling up the deck around here. They shuffling up the deck, man. So be ready. Twin Empire, okay. Let me get my man in here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get in Twin Empire. What's going on, my brother? Talk to me. Talk to me. I know you're a big Trey fan. Talk to me. You there, Twin? Twin Empire ain't there. Twin, you're on. 20 twin. You must be tried by 5 facts. You will press it too. All right, Twin ain't there. All right, if y'all want to get in the chat, let me drop the chat link one more again. I thought Twin was there in the chat. He was down here on the bottom. Let me remove him right quick. Twin, I think they go on YouTube. Y'all can jump on the chat because I know everybody man. It is buzzing. I know everybody's show is going right now, and people are talking. People are buzzing. Twin, where you at, man? Twin, baby, Twin. It's hard to play like that though. Yeah, I got you. What's up, faithful Ty Austin in the hizzle? What's up, man? How you doing? Twin, you ready to go? Thumbs up. Twin, you there? Twin, we can't hear you. All right, Twin ain't ready to go. All right. A sugar show. Terradome is quick with the censorship. Hey, Ty. I saw the double S. I was like, I can go with it, or I can get shut down. Yeah, I speak ambidextrously. That's my man Ty Austin. Ty, you're on tonight as well, man. We got to come up with our 53 man roster, and I think we got a little bit more to talk about today. So, jump on. 49er Jeff, I can't believe Darnold turnover is Darnold turnover. It's like an Apple turnover. Donald turnover is QB2. Yeah. Yeah, they just yeah, let's talk about that, man. Is everybody feeling Sam Darnold like talk about when I look at him, I'm gonna be real. It feels like his helmet hurt. It seems like it. Uh it just seems because we know what Sam Darnold is, right? We've seen a lot of it. We've seen his ups and downs, and some of his downs are really, really down. Um, but grading it out, let's look at it like my man Mike Tomlin from Denby High School in Newport News, Virginia. He likes to look at it with gray, nameless faces, right? Sam Darnold was a number 3 pick overall. Sam Darnold was a much ballyhooed, that's an old word, but a much publicized quarterback coming out of high school as well as college and went to a Power 5 in USC. He too was, drafted number 3 overall by an organization that moved up to get him. And I knew instantly when Kyle brought him in, just hearing the buzz on how others felt about him in the national media, as well as how Sam Darnold, his demeanor is, and in golf we have what's called a handicap. He went to the New York Jets when they had he was a little. I don't want to cut the man down. What? No, let's tell him like it's real. That googly eyed coach from he was in Miami, then he goes to New York. When he did the presser, his eyes was real big like that. Adam Gase. Adam Gase. Yeah, he was the it boy for a minute, man. Everybody just, oh my God, Adam Gase. He's just the offensive guru. Adam Gase, Adam Gase. Meanwhile, Eric Bieniemy still waiting on the head coach job. Anyway, I digress. I ain't gonna say nothing. Adam Gase is up there, man, and I I can't remember Sam Darnold's primary weapons. I think they got him a halfway decent offensive lineman, maybe. I think maybe Becton, possibly. I think it was Becton up there. Did he give him a running game? Frank the Tank came up there and helped him out for maybe a hot year, but y'all know Frank was, man, just between me and you. I talked to Frank. I said, man, Frank, how old are you? He said, man, I'm 157 years old. Come on, y'all go laugh at that in the chat. Y'all laugh at it. If you know the movie, y'all know Frank. Frank was getting old at that time. It was no tread on the tire. It was like a Pontiac with 200,000 miles on that thing. Frank done did it. Man, Frank going in the Hall of Fame, but at the time when Sam Darnold was up there with him, Frank was 157 years old. And he didn't really have much. And then the Jets aren't known as a pristine, upper echelon NFL franchise. So they burn him out. You probably sack him all up. You probably done slammed his head into the door. That's why I feel like his helmet's so tight. And then he goes to Carolina. My boy got season tickets down here. I work with a a wonderful dude, man. He a New Yorker. I hang out with them New Yorkers that they just be dope with me, and I'm always dope with them, man. He goes and checks Sam Donald out, and he felt like Sam Donald was all right, man. Sam Donald cool. Um, but it doesn't quite work out there. And to be perfectly honest, y'all, we get about all the good pieces that have come through Carolina in the last 3, 4, 5 years. If you really want to think about it, we've got Carolina's uh, running back. We've got Carolina's defensive coordinator slash head coach, and we've got their last quarterback. And I knew when Steve Wilkes was there as well as CMC, you don't think for 1 minute Cal didn't go to them and say, "Hey, tell me the truth. What y'all think?" I'm thinking about, you know, thinking about getting old Sam Donald out here. If he was hot garbage, you don't think Wilkes or CMC, who looks like one of those officers, one of those ring knockers from Annapolis, uh, those are those Marine uh officers. He gives me that Marine vibe. And we call them ring knockers because they always wear their graduate rings on that thing, and they knock it on the desk when they ready to do something. He reminds me of a ring knocker. You don't think they would have told Shanahan or John Lynch, "Hey, no, hey man, don't get him. He booty. Don't do it. Don't do it." No way, no way. So they feel something in him, and he does have the prerequisite skills. I'm not saying he's ever blown me away or made me just say, "Wow, oh my God, Sam Donald," but Power Five conference guy, steady Eddie. Did see some ghosts versus the New England Patriots. They went zero thunder on them, you know. But in the grand scheme of things, he's 25 years old. I think 25, maybe 26. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. And you had some inside intel, the guys who were in the huddle with him, the guys who were in the building with him, the guys who probably knew him best. The running back, he leaned on, and the interim head coach for I think Steve Wilkes did 4 games. I think or maybe 6 games with him, and even before that, he had to prepare against him for practice and things of that nature. So, who are we talking about? It was just like not like some unknown alien dropped in from a planet long, long ago. I got Niner Gang coming in. Let me add him to the show. Hey, Niner Gang, what's up, man? Talk to me.
What's going on, my man? First time on your show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my brother. Thank you so much for coming on in.
No worries, man. Glad you had me. Glad you had me.
Yes, sir. So, what do you think with everything going on, man?
I
You-
think I feel like Kyle Shanahan has just completely lost his freaking mind. Um, I'm not saying Trey Lance was going to be a superstar either way, this and that. I get it with the whole Brock Purdy thing. I totally understand. But keeping freaking Sam Darnold at quarterback 2 over Trey Lance is mind blowing to me. Um, I just don't see how this plays out positive for us as Niner fans because, I mean, we're one injury away from just a horrible season. I mean, one injury away. It doesn't matter what position group it's at. Christian McCaffrey goes down. It's going to be a struggle. Trent Williams, God forbid, twists his ankle again. It's, man, we're in some trouble this year, and I don't think it's going to be good. In all honesty, I'm diehard Niners days I can remember, man, and I feel like we have on paper one of those fantastic rosters.
yeah.
But man, none of that shit matters on paper, man. Excuse my language, but
Hey, it is real.
none of it matters on paper, man, until you step out on that field and they're gonna get a rude awakening, man. Especially if they pull that old "we're gonna start slow," you know.
Yeah,
That
we traditionally we do. Traditionally
yeah,
we have. Yeah.
that ain't gonna cut it this year, man. They got to come out swinging because we have a hard schedule this year, man. Like what, the first or second most traveled miles this in the league this year. Like it's just rough, man. They got to get all them wins when they can, and God forbid, man, they got to keep Brock Purdy, got to keep him upright because I mean he can move
They
around
do.
and stuff.
They do, and I was a little put off, man. I gotta be real. I was a little put off that we didn't go after a good tackle in that third round in the draft. We did what
Right?
we always do, start going after some crazy stuff. And I saw the move up to get the safety, but dude, y'all know we done got our quarterbacks cracked. And you ain't going for no protection. It's like you done got robbed twice, and you ain't gonna buy no pistol.
I'm telling you, right?
Man, I was like,
He just does it. Kyle Shanahan don't learn. I mean, I forget where I heard it from, man, but I heard it recently that he made a comment that he brought up all the two teams, the Ravens with Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, and then back in 1912, whenever in the heck that other random team won, it was like, and it feels like, is that what you're trying to do here? Like, are you trying to show that you can do this without an elite quarterback? Because history tells us different, man. History don't lie. History repeats itself over and over, but
yeah.
he ain't in the window.
Mm.
And he's at a point now. I'm just curious to like, is he trying to see how much failure he can occur and how much traumatized he can add to quarterbacks before he gets ousted in the league? I mean, he's a great offensive coordinator, great play caller.
Yeah, he designs it. He designs it well, but you need a playmaker. Eventually, you're gonna need a guy who can make some plays.
Exactly.
I
mean, for him to pass on Patrick Mahomes and not even try to go after Tom Brady and all this, it just shows you that this man has zero eye for talent at the QB position. And he just keeps doubling. He's doubling down on this one, man. He's doubling down. So I got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, he's pushing the chips in, and you gotta love that. Let me see if I can get to another caller. Thank you so much, Niner Gang, man. Like and subscribe, man. Thank you for coming on in. I got right now coming to the stage. Coming to the stage. That's how they do it. This strip club. Coming to the stage right now. He got Twin. What's up, man? You've been backstage for a minute.
Hey man, I feel like I'm at the Apollo. I've been backstage since 1991.
I keep trying to put you on. I put you on like once or twice. I say, hey, twin.
I said, good Lord. I said, man, I thought Kyle Shanahan was putting people in the doghouse bag. I said, now even my brother doing me the same way. I said, oh, Lord. I said, I don't got the complexion for the protection. I said, Jesus Christ, help me.
Hey, look. I thought of this one just for you. You ready?
What up?
Me loving Trey Lance, or me loving Brock Purdy on everybody's channel. Y'all make me feel like Clarence Thomas at the Source Awards.
Hey, that's how it look. That's kind of how you been looking as a late man. I'm like,
I know,
man, my brother out here.
Am I the only brother that loves Brock Purdy?
Look, my brother out here solo dolo. I'm like, man, I don't mind you loving Brock, but we understand what's going on behind the scenes. You know what's going on in the A&R room. You know what I'm saying? Like you upstairs in New York, and you know what's going on with them boys that be controlling the A&R scene. You know what I'm talking about?
I know about the payola.
You know what I'm saying? I said, oh God. I said, this stuff is high off the press, man.
Y'all making me feel Hugh Pterodon, we just maybe not want you coming on today.
Hey, look,
I talk about other stuff.
Hey, look, Pterodon, depends on how this work out. You know what I'm saying? We want, go pray for the best. But remember on the Chappelle episode when they were like, hey, the draft.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we trade Pterodon for Jesse.
Wait a damn minute there, Rondell.
We like to make a trade, 3 first rounders.
Y'all gonna love me, man. I'm gonna come off like Dr. Dre when he bought y'all Eminem. and made millions.
Hey,
y'all gonna see me 50 Cent and Eminem somewhere. Y'all gonna be like, yeah,
hey,
yeah.
God,
We got
but
the right
this
one.
the
We
thing
got the
though.
right one.
You gotta be Eminem. You cannot be Machine Gun Kelly. You can't be, you know what I'm saying, none of these other individuals. There is, hey, right now, how this set up, this right here, this right here.
We got to roll.
Hey man, you a man. Hey, you a man on the cloth. You know what? One thing I tell people, it says you should do things in decency and in what?
In order.
Now listen here. We can sit here and tell people what we see today, but there's no way on God's green earth you can sit here and say this thing has been done in decency and in order. It hasn't. There's been a lot of finagling. There's been a lot of lying. There's been a lot of saying one thing here, going another thing another way. There hasn't been no real support with this situation. And even if you're a Trey guy, a Brock guy, or just a 49er guy, in general, since the origin story, since the genesis of this, it has been handled improperly. This is not Brock's fault. This is not Trey's fault. The accountability on the higher ups should be on a whole nother level. This is a Super Bowl bust. There is no excuse for injury if your offensive line is not staying packed because you wasted three picks for Trey Lance. You could have had a solidified offensive line. There's no excuse for not having the help on the other side of Nicholas Bosa because you could have had a Michael Parson, or there could have been like. There's no excuse for not having a defense, the D back on the opposite side of Shavarius Ward because you could have had a Patrick Surtain. Like no.
Ooh.
All that in. Oh no.
Ooh.
Y'all getting that work. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse.
He got receipts, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no excuse. There are guys that came off that board that were were phenomenal, but they're not there. We already know that our offensive line is shaky. It's like a loose tooth on an attic. That joker is a good gust of wind away from being somewhere on the grass. We know this. We know this. You know what I'm saying? Trey, hey, Kyle Shanahan, you cannot go in hiding like a thong and wear spruces behind. You cannot go in hiding. You got to finish this deal. Do you understand me? You have to run this race and you got to run through the tape like your name was Sha'Carri Richardson. Do you understand me?
That girl bad too. That girl
she a bad girl, but guess what they didn't do? See, they didn't give up on her. You know what I'm saying? She might have got knocked down, but she kept believing, and somebody kept that wind beneath her wings, and that girl flew. Because they know women like that don't get that many opportunities, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But see,
Jamaica do, though.
But Jamaica do, but see, they're together, though. See, one thing about them, when they run as a unit. You know what I'm saying? Dude, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, that's all I'm saying. Like, we got to realize that I hope Kyle finished the deal. That's the only thing I'm going to say, because the amount of ish that can come his way would be crazy, man. And you know the receipts are out there.
It's a lot out there. Let me get to fish are relaxing, man. I love the handle. Dude look goofy. His head and helmet. He's referencing Sam Darnold. Do you remember them bike helmets? You used to have them bike helmets back in the day when you used to put that air in it. It had the air at the top of the thing and you used to pump it up. It looked like he pumped his too tight. It just looked like and take some air out this helmet. Take some air out this helmet.
It's gonna be
it is what it is.
Because look, Johnny, everybody says.
Let me shout out Johnny Dale's Johnny Dale's Football Academy, my man, where I go to for film. He said Twitter is melting. Twitter is hot. I have it up as well. It is the number one trending sports topic. You are correct, Johnny Dale.
But my question is, and I was on Johnny Dale's channel the other day, is like, people make it seem like, why is this such a big deal? Or why is it melting? Like, let's be honest, this sport been out for a long time. This is unprecedented. Again, like I said, the genesis of this is unprecedented. This is not like this is something that happens all the time. This is not the usual way of doing the quarterback situation. This is unusual. So yes, there's going to be people sitting there like, what are we doing? Because we've watched this game for a very, 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 very long time. Has there been some anomalies here and there? Yes, sir, they have. But when you have the bevy of riches that the 49ers did have and do have, and then you do things in this manner, you're going to sit here and say, hold on, what's going on here? And then you have an individual like Kyle Shanahan who's been like, he's been born into this thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's seen these things in different layers, and the only comparison people come to us about and say, well, this is similar to Joe Montana and Steve Young or stuff like that. It's like, no, that's disrespect. Joe Montana was a 2-time Super Bowl champion before Steve Young ever came over there to San Francisco.
True.
Yes or no?
Yeah, true. He won in 81, and then he came back again. They got the great Dan Marino, Dan Marino was the Patrick Mahomes of the day, y'all. I got to make y'all understand that.
Straight out of Pittsburgh.
Was it, and we went up there. It was at Stanford Stadium, and we put it on a monkey.
Beat the brakes off them. You know what I'm saying? Beat the brakes off them.
Don't tell me it can't be done. And all y'all slurping that Patrick Mahomes and smoking that Patrick Mahomes pack. Don't care. No, I take it very personal. Don't tell me it can't happen, because we will shut you down. I done seen them get the great Dan Marino, and I done seen us get the great John Elway. John Elway was LeBron James of football. John Elway was dragging some sorry teams.
But wait a minute though. But you got to keep
John Elway.
Wait, hold on, Terror Dog.
No. Let me get John Elway his flowers. John Elway was dragging some sorry teams to the Super Bowl, and we put it on John Elway. So did the Giants, and so did the Redskins. Got him too.
Yeah, but the difference is, let's be real. The great, I got caught with the jokes.
Go ahead.
The one and great Ray J said this a long time ago to Kanye West. You know what he said?
What he said?
He said, I hit it first.
And he got filmed.
Hey, say that one more time.
Not that I've seen it, ladies and gentlemen.
But hey, listen
particularly those of my congregation. But I heard he had receipts.
And look, so you may begin to win later, but one thing you got is this: Pat Mahomes can say, "I hit it first."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not only did he hit it first, he came back, and before we could even double back, he got 2 of them.
Yeah.
So, like, we got to be real. Like, you know how it is when you with your boys. Like, we Niners fans, we can sit here and we will try to make up wherever we can to make sure our team's okay.
Yeah.
But we one-on-one, like you got brothers or you in your army with your comrades. Yeah. If you are up on the totem pole, you go sit and say, yeah, boy, you won today, but I've been beating the brakes off you. You know what I'm saying? I've been the one who I bust your cherry. I've been the one who out here been whooping your butt. Like, let's talk like real people do in the locker room, man. And let's
Hey, I ain't saying he ain't great. I ain't saying he's garbage. But as a man, let me take my glasses off. Let me be 100% real. I am not afraid of Patrick Mahomes. He put his pants on just like you put yours on. And if you think for 1 minute you are defeated going against Patrick Mahomes, or you think you can't beat him, you are defeated already. I will go with my defense, put it on him, and beat him when I am in the Super Bowl. I am not afraid.
And that's fine and dandy. But if you've been in a fight with somebody already, and you know that they are sucking with holding up they doggone blocking. They are not keeping their headphones up. They are continuously dropping that hand down. They're not holding their cell phone to their ear, which is our defense, our offensive line. One thing we know for certain is you better have somebody protecting our boys. And 2 fights ago, we learned that we got a dog. Put your hands up. Protect yourself. Protect your neck. So
he could be beat though. He could be beat. I was down there in Miami. We knew we had him beat. We should have had him beat. All we had to do was run the ball. We were running for 6.4 yards a carry. Just run the ball and keep him on the sidelines. He had given us 2 interceptions.
Yes.
I know the interception because I was right down there in that end zone winning when we did it with 8 minutes left in the daggone fourth quarter. It can be done, and it should be done, and it will be done. We can beat Patrick Mahomes, man. Even the best. Even you know, that's why I like them Detroit Pistons from the 89 and the 90s and the 80s. They went up against the great Michael Jordan, who's on my wall right here beside me, and who on the poster up here above me. Born February 17, 1963, Wilmington, North Carolina. Bad man. But you think Isaiah Thomas, you think John Sally, Rick Mahone, daggone Dennis Rodman, the Benny the Microwave Johnson, Chuck Daly, you think they just sat around and said, oh, you know, he just so good. Oh, Lord, looking at him like he on ATL skating. He ain't sweet. Hey, I'm going to put this on him, and we going to come away with this victory.
But then you still got to say, the squad that Jordan was on had to be revamped. He had to make sure he gets some protection. You had to make sure you go and read what? You had to recalibrate the doggone roster, because at the same time, one man can't do it all, like you said about LeBron James. LeBron James needed to go get some help.
LeBron James had to go get some help. Yeah.
He had to go get some riders. So it wasn't like they was out here just Jordan was out here getting beat with some really good talent around him.
But in terms of a like a franchise greatness quarterback, John Elway was bad, man. John Elway was the truth. I can't even name, maybe Ricky Nattiel and Vance Johnson were his quarterbacks. And I just remember Vance Johnson because I talked to my cousin about this last year or last week. That's the only reason I remember it, man. And he had a running back named Sammy Winder, I think, man. But John Elway was man, he was taking them to the Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
He was before his time.
And
I mean, he was before his time. He was one of the most athletic individuals that you saw for 10 years. His athleticism and his ability to throw the ball like with ease. I mean, you talking about that early year, and the unfortunate thing was those guys came early in their career. Whether John Elway and Dan Marino, unfortunately, he never really got back again since that one time he went to play against us. But it took John Elway a long time to get back. And even then, his athleticism had declined to a degree. But because it was so high when he first came in, he still was able to move and groove and do some things for the Broncos for those 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. But he couldn't even be required to be the number one cause for their team to go forth and win the Super Bowl. They had to rely on Terrell Davis, who was a phenomenal running back for a short stint in time. But while he was there, he was definitely proficient and efficient in what it is that he did. You know what I'm saying? So,
and he went out and got some defensive help with Neil. Big Neil Young. He had he got a linebacker, and then he had Atwater back there. Man, he had to get some dogs on defense too, man. It take a team. It take a team, y'all. It take a team.
Steve Atwater would knock your head off. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. That was a bad man.
You ain't know.
Y'all don't understand. Look, Steve Atwater. Everybody talk about John Lynch.
Look.
Darren Woodson, but that boy Steve Atwater, when you talk about Brian Dawkins, them boys are good. But Steve Atwater,
ask Christian McCoy about him. I bet Christian McCoy, the Nigerian Nightmare, will tell you about him.
that boy didn't play around. But I'll say this, man, the 49ers will take over for the next 6 to 9 weeks with far as just how intense this media coverage will be. The pressure is going to be on a whole nother level. Man, I pray that we just stay healthy at the end of the day, because we are very top heavy. Like, I mean, we are like top. We are like Pamela Anderson in '95 top heavy. Like, we are top heavy. You see what I'm saying? Like, listen here, bro. Hey.
Hey, my God. This is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. Me and this young men get together.
Hey, we up there, bro. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make sure we
He
stay
said, man, it's in the 95 top heavy.
without the Tommy Lee in the boat, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Woo,
Listen here.
it's
We got-
good. That will be Terradome After Dark, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, sir, look, they ain't ready, man. Hey, look, listen here.
Twin, they ain't ready. They ain't ready. You know how we go, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen here.
We got the
I
young
keep-
folks. And if you have your child watching, please know that we are great supporters of all the Cartoon Networks. We're a family organization here.
Yeah.
Let me get to some chats real quick, man. Let me hit them real quick, man. Let's take a pause for the calls. BB13, my dog, 187 on an undercover cop. Man, yeah.
Big up
187, you been
187.
rolling?
What's up?
Hey, man. Yeah, man. I'm pulling for the kid. That's my boy, man. That's my dude. Ty Austin, 187. What's our record this season? I think 15-2. And Circle gets the square. I win a free 1 year subscription to Rice Aroni. 15-2 is what I've been calling all year. We need to sign Nicholas John Bosa, though. We do need to do that. What? No belief in Brock? Come on, man.
Who said that?
Yeah. Ty Austin says, what? No belief in Brock? Come on, man. I think he went to 17-0. But hey, you got to put that little fudge factor in there. Let's not get crazy, folks. Joe Montana shows Marino who the real top dog was. Yeah, man. Yeah, and it won't just Joe. And I was on with you guys, Ty, and Jess and Deb and Matt, man. You had the great Dwight Hicks on. Do you remember the mentality that Dwight was talking about? And it was a little different NFL then. Dwight Hicks knew. He said them receivers, the Marks brothers. He had Mark Duper and Mark Clayton. He said, man, when we switch to this zone, they ain't gonna get nothing. We coming to see him, baby. We coming with, man, it was Dwight hit licks. It was Carlton the Truth Williamson. It was the greatest. Ronnie Lott back there, boy. If we won't quite, Dwayne Board from Virginia was in the house.
What was the nickname though?
Tina
what was the
Turner.
nickname though? They had a nickname too. The secondary, remember? Oh man, they had a nickname too about themselves. Gosh darn it.
See,
because people say the Legion of Boom and stuff like that. They had their own nickname too. Come on,
I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. Yeah, hit it up in the chat. Hit it up in the chat, man. Let me see. Hell yeah. Let me see. Callie Young, man. Callie Young is my dude, man. Don't get Bishop turned up. Hey, yeah. I gotta be real, man. I this Patrick Mahomes slurp. I'm just like, oh, and he's great, and I love him, and he's wonderful. He's great for the sport. I wrote about him in my book. He's awesome, but as a champion, as a competitor, as a commander, I just can't concede to everybody. Just we just need Patrick. We need Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes.
So what about Tom?
Oh, that's the greatest that ever did it.
Exactly. So somebody would say, as a 49er fan, what people deem as the greatest quarterback ever for your squad that you root for, people were like, hey, this is Joe Montana. How could you get rid of Joe Montana? It's like a prophet's not even welcoming his own town. Like, you get rid of the great Joe Montana who put the first trophy in the case, who put the Niners on the map, and then you turn around, you go from the Bay all the way to Maine and come for Tom Brady.
It was hard. And believe me,
I did it because I heard you say something about somebody's scandal the other day talking about Williams in New Orleans with the doggone Greg Williams and putting the bounty gate on some people's head. And you was making mention of that about the Saints and what it is that Drew Brees and them did as far as Sean Payton talking about the bounty gate. And somebody would sit there and say, well, hold up. The Joe Montana didn't have none of these gates and gray areas. But then when you talk about Tom Brady and the things that he had to go through, you would surpass that and put the great Joe Montana beneath him, and then you would excel and put the boy Tom Brady on the precipice as the greatest quarterback ever?
All right, let me explain. I'll go back to Parker Hall in 1991 when I was emphatically arguing, like only Terror Dome could argue,
Keep Joe Montana.
that we were talking about Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan.
Uh-huh.
And these boys was trying to tell me that Michael Jordan was better than my man, Magic Johnson.
Which he was, but continue.
And I said, now keep in mind, this is 1991.
And he was better then, though, but continue.
I said, well, let me know when he get these 5 rings that he done put on my finger. When Michael Jordan get to 5, I'll call him the greatest. But this here is a team game. This ain't golf. This ain't Parcheesi. This ain't chess. This ain't poker. This is a team game. And in team sports, the greatest wear them rings. And they're the catalyst for you wearing them rings. Let me know when Michael Jordan get to it. And around 1997 or 98, when he hit that shot against Utah, I said, well, ain't much more to talk about no more. This is it. Flash forward. I was emphatically telling them, hey, Joe Montana is 4 out of 4. Let me know when Tom Brady can get to that. He put that 4th one on against Atlanta after Deflategate, and then went and got 2 more. I said, well, I guess we don't need to talk about this no more.
Hey, but look, you gotta put them asterisks though, man. Cause people always look, them doggone Tom Brady rules came out. The doggone eye, the extra eye in the spy. You ever seen? I know you saw the great movie. This is a great movie. Everybody watch this movie called Eagle Eye. Y'all remember Eagle Eye?
Eagle Eyes, though. Yeah, I seen Eagle Eye.
That movie was before its time. That man, look, you know who wrote that doggone script?
Who wrote that? Tom Brady. Yeah, man. Tom Brady bad, man. Tom Brady bad. And then I had people argue with me even when I told them they was the GOAT. He said, man, no, man, Peyton Manning. I said, man, in the playoffs, he don't want to see Tom Brady. And then they would tell me it's the system. It's all that dink and dunk. It's just the system. I said, well, give me that system. So Tom Brady, you know what he do? Pack his bags and they moved to Tampa Lee. He went on down and got away from Bill Belichick. And then he won with them Tampa Bay Bucks. And I'm going to give you this one. They coming saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. It's only 2 times in the postseason that Patrick Mahomes has been stopped. In the AFC Championship game, when he had 50 touchdowns in the season, he lost to one man in New England who went on to win the Super Bowl, Tom Brady. When he was in the Super Bowl versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 years later, he lost to one man, Tom Brady, head to head.
Bowles. He lost to Bowles.
Bowles was there too. But
that defense was on fire.
But somehow that number 12 was on the field whenever head to head in the postseason. The people you calling GOAT lost to that dude, number 12. And then when there was a chance that he was coming to us, man, I was gonna move heaven and earth. I was like, oh, please. I normally don't get an active player's jersey, but if you just give me Tom Brady, if you just right this wrong for us getting Giovanni Carmazzi, Lord God, please let Tom Brady come to the San Francisco. I got on there and his name was OG 49er 4628 or something like that. That man cussed me 4 ways to sideways, calling him garbage, calling him old, calling him through, calling him done. And Tom Brady heard him, went down there to Tampa.
Hey.
and said, "You chose that MFer over me."
No. Was that Tom or Kyle Shanahan who did that?
I don't know who did it or why they did it, but I know people was cussing me every which way to Sunday, telling me, "No, we don't want him. We don't want him. He old.
Kyle Shanahan said
he
that.
washed up." All I
Shanahan
know is TB12. It was two great quarterbacks in the building in 1981 in the NFC Championship, San Francisco versus Dallas. It was Joe Montana
Tom Brady
and a 4-year-old wanting a foam finger, a number one foam finger up in stands 4582 named Tom Brady.
So
that's all I know.
So listen here, how you connected all those dots are very important, but then also it kind of makes a bad case or makes an even better case for your boy Pat Mahomes. You saying the only how he got beat was by the GOAT who surpassed the GOAT of GOATs, which was Joe Montana. So the only person who was able to beat him was Tom, and now Tom is no longer here playing football. So some people call it the Elijah and the Elijah type of situation where he sat there and said, "Okay, here you go. Here's the mantle. Here, and you get a double portion because now you saw me twice." You see what I'm saying? And now, sister, so I mean, is that what you're trying to say to us?
So allow me to retort.
Okay, I gotta hear this then.
Do you think for 1 minute the Cincinnati Bengals fans is saying how great Patrick Mahomes is? I watched that documentary called Quarterback.
Right now they can be.
When Joe Burrow comes to town, they call that Burrowhead.
But what happened last year though? When they played against Joe Burrow and Burrowhead.
The kid made a bonehead play and they got him.
And they lost.
But up until then,
it don't matter.
Up until it do, because they went to the Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl.
Who won?
They went to the Super Bowl.
I'm talking about last year when Cincinnati played against Kansas City. Kansas City beat them and they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
We're talking about going to the Super Bowl and beating Patrick Mahomes. Cincinnati ain't scared of Patrick Mahomes.
I hear you. They said that the year that they beat them and went to the Super Bowl. What I'm telling you is they were saying that same stuff last year when they were saying Arrowhead is no longer called Arrowhead, and they beat them in the regular season again. And then this last year when they said, "Oh, we going," I think it was the Eli Apple, like, "Yeah, we finna go back up there to KC to Arrowhead. Y'all know how we get down," because they had it all on camera. They was really talking like, "Yeah, y'all know how we get down. We go to Arrowhead." And then with the Arrowhead,
very similar to how the 49ers do in Los Angeles, wouldn't you say?
Hell no. Nah.
We own SoFi Stadium, do we not?
No, because we didn't win. SoFi came back, they beat us and won the Super Bowl. We can't say nothing because we still took a L.
All right, let's go X out. Let's go X out like we do in defense. If you take out that one loss, and I know it was a huge loss, what is our record against the Los Angeles Rams the last, as long as Kyle Shanahan's been coaching?
Okay, but man to man.
No. What's our record against the Los Angeles Rams as long as Kyle has been here and Sean McVay, I'm sorry.
He has a winning record, but most people would tell you, especially a sports fan like you, do you do it when it counts? When the money is on the line. When Tom Brady see he's down 28 points or 25 points and the money is on the line and you got to turn around and look at your foe when it's money time, can I trust you to go through and finish the deal? You going to say, my boy Tom Brady.
I'm just talking about winning. I'm just talking about the possibilities of winning and the percentages and the chances you have of winning. If it's all up to you just having, if we do a statistical analysis of who is the best quarterback and we don't have to play the game, you just go off that and we're going to have a quarterback skills challenge. Well, there's no need in playing the game. Y'all just go out. The two quarterbacks, y'all go out there, have a run a 40, throw it as far as you can, hit a couple of receivers, and let's see who the best quarterback is, and that's all you need for the game. and that's it. But the game ain't that. The game ain't quarterback.
It's so that way.
The game is tackle football.
No. The game is so quarterback. You just said you watched the whole documentary called what? What was it called? What's the documentary called?
Yeah, that documentary is called Quarterback, but you need more than just the quarterback to win a game.
Who has, okay, we know it's a team sport, but we all know that it's the reason why the quarterback get all the money. It's the reason why the GOAT conversation.
They're very important. So is the cornerback. So is good linebackers. So is a running game. So is a great offensive line. Tell me, if you don't have that offensive line, tell me it ain't good.
So was the 12 disciples, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't have been who they was if they had Jesus Christ.
And the discipleship after Jesus Christ has given and prolonged and proliferated the word of God in this earth after Jesus has gone on, descended, and then ascended.
And he was the first of what? He was the prototype.
Yeah, he was the prototype. He is the image. He is the image and the likeness.
The one we look into. So even today, the quarterback is still the image in which we sell national football. When you got
you can football, you can sell the tickets and all that. But I'm saying, in order to win, it's 53 players on a roster. And all of it is equal. The organization counts. The way you travel counts. The way you coaching matters. You can have the greatest quarterbacks in sliced bread, but if you ain't got a defense, if you ain't got a running game that sustains in playoff weather in the snow, things happen, man.
Well, nobody is saying that a quarterback, but we know that the quarterback is the number one position. We can't sit there. We know that there's other players that's 11 on 11. But since the inception of this sport and how we have seen it go on, it's the reason why we say the top players that ever played this game, we're going to name Aaron Rodgers, a Joe Montana, a Steve Young, a Tom Brady, a John Elway. These guys, the Dan Marino. The same thing that we just spoke about was for a reason. We know the effect and the impact that most people would say that this is the most important position in sports. So that's all I'm saying is, like, we can't say and act as if that's not what it is.
It's very, very important, but it's not the only important position.
But it's the most important.
It can be. It is the most important position.
That's all I'm saying.
But
I didn't say the only, but it is the most.
But I will say you need these other positions, and you need them well, and you need them at a high performance level to get to that championship. And it can be done. It has been done. It has to be done. And this is the way we're going to do it.
But the percentage of it is a lot lower than the other way. Let's just be honest. The percentage of it when you're winning.
We're seeing the effects of that with the great Patrick Mahomes in the last couple of years, because it's been sold as you just have to have Patrick Mahomes and you're going to win all the time. But that hasn't always been the case, because Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady that we know of in 2001. That was an incredible defense. That was Vrabel. That was Seymour. That was Ty Law. That was the great Bill Belichick. That was some wonderful running. That was some check downs. I think the receivers was a dude named Deion Branch who would double and play cornerback sometimes or something like that. It was what the other guy named Troy Brown. Troy Brown would double and play cornerback sometimes. It's sometimes you don't even need to be there. It's Adam Vinatieri in a snowstorm kicking in a blizzard a line drive to win by 3 points. It's the postseason. It's all types of stuff. It's strategies like Bill Belichick's against a machine gun Kelly and the Buffalo Bills in 1991, who were predicted to get 30 or 45 points. But he said, look, this is what we're going to do, fellas. We're not going to go with a nickel. We're not going to go with a dime. We're going to go with a quarter. And we're going to dare them to run the ball. We want Thurman Thomas to have about 225 yards. I'm putting in 6, sometimes 7 DBs. And I dare them to throw it. I want them running that ball. And when they run, be physical, be nasty, and get the turnovers.
Yeah.
And they whittled them on down and won 19-17 with a kick at the end, with a Norwood miss at the end. This game is bigger than just the great quarterback. And Colin Coward, I saw Colin Coward doing this about 5 or 6 years ago, man. He was on this show talking about, all you need is a great quarterback, and that's going to predict, who's going to win the Super Bowl. And then, digging up his nose and everything. It's just quarterback. It's just quarterback. And then he just, the media just drove us to this fantasy land that it's just the quarterback, a coach, and a whistle, like it's one mic at the Apollo. It ain't.
Wait. That's not what I'm saying. And you can't say that now.
No, I ain't saying that's what you saying. But bro, it's a lot of people believing on just that, and they get fixated. They get fixated saying, okay, well, if we don't have the greatest quarterback, we're not gonna win.
But TD, it's the same principle as whenever you bring to me or to anybody the stats of Brock Purdy, you bring them the stats because you know that there's a predictive analysis that you believe that if I show you these stats and what he has done in these situations, the outcome could be, it's not a guarantee, but the outcome could possibly be A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
So this is why you're presenting stats to us, right? So you was taking a stat over 8 games and saying, hey, this is what he's doing, what he could continue to do. So it's the same situation, but on a bigger or a grandiose scale, we talk about quarterbacking and what has commonly been the denominator, which kind of been the predictive analysis of what or who could be a Super Bowl champion, meaning what? These guys with these type of numbers at this position, usually, not saying all the way, would get your ring, but it's kind of more, if you Vegas, you will put more so your money on this part instead of a team that doesn't have that type of quarterback. You will say, okay, Vegas would say you have a better percentage of winning with this than the other. Not saying that the other can't win. Yes, we've seen it. A perfect example, like you just mentioned not so long ago, was what? The 2005 Pistons. You saw them going against the Kobe Bryants, the Shaquille O'Neal.
We was loaded. We had Gary Payton. We had Karl Malone. We had all the stars, man.
All this, right?
And them Pistons came out there, man, with Ben Wallace from Virginia Union University. Yeah.
John Prince.
Yeah, man. And, they put it on.
Phillips. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Chauncey Billups. Oh man, they got us.
Did they win? Yes. They went to 4, I believe, straight Eastern Conference Finals as well. Afterward, they had a record for the most consecutive appearances there. And did they win that one time? They surely did.
Yeah.
They went and beat the great Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace on this wonderful day.
You know what I'm saying?
They beat the Shaquille O'Neal.
Happy birthday, Kobe.
But the whole thing was this, is that they couldn't consistently win. They never won again. So it's not that the team wasn't great. It's not that team should not be heralded, but the way they put that team together, everything kind of had to fall in place. But the normal situation is that doesn't happen all the time. That is not the normal way. That's all I'm saying.
It doesn't. And you're correct. Usually the way football is set up, it's set up so it's going to protect the quarterback. Thank heavens. And if you get time and you can pick them apart, oh yeah, you come to see him.
But you gotta have great coaches too, though.
You can't hit the receiver, you can't hit the quarterback, you can't rough him up, you can't put him out, and usually you're gonna get some calls that's gonna be favorable your way. That's how Cincinnati got him too last year, because that bonehead number 58 pushed him when he was out of bounds.
Yeah,
it gave him a gimme shot. And let me get to Brian Cup real quick.
Real fast, I get out of here though.
All right, go ahead.
That Piston team, though they won, they had a coach who was seasoned, very seasoned and smart, in Larry Brown, who had the ability to adapt through his mistakes. He was able to adapt. Now, the whole thing I say about even with our team that you said that we're building, with our QB being the guy, which is fine, but Kyle Shanahan, again, this is why I say the responsibility, I'm not putting it on Brock. Nah, you did a wonderful thing. Keep doing your thing, Brock. But this will go on Kyle.
It is. It's
You
Kyle's baby. Kyle's the one that drafted Trey. You know, everybody thought he was gonna go with Mac, and he went with Trey. It's Kyle's baby all the way, and that's why I thought he had skin in the game. If anybody wanted to see Trey flourish, it better had been Kyle Shanahan. You went out and got this kid. You know, and you a basketball man. You know what it was like. Years ago, you used to get a Tim Duncan. You used to get a seasoned guy, a admiral who had been in college for 4 years. But after Kobe, after Big Ticket, after LeBron, it became a detriment if a kid was in school longer than a year or 2 years. Even if he went to college, it was like, what's wrong with him? Why didn't he come to the NBA? It felt like they kind of went with that philosophy a little bit with Trey. He hadn't put in the prerequisite years in college, like like the Bill Parcells rule. Played 30 games, win 23 of them, 67%, affected his school and stuff like that. They did the kid a bit of a disservice bringing him in after basically, and he still is. If you go with snaps, he's into just his 420 maybe the 440th snap, man, since high school. And that's unprecedented. That's so much pressure to put on he's basically a college sophomore in terms of snaps.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, Brock Purdy had 1,300 snaps since high school. And this kid ain't have but a fourth of it. Or a third of that. Am I doing my math right? Yeah, 400 is a third of that.
But the crazy thing about that, though, Tara, is
that
even with that least of a snap, even last year or his rookie year, to be able to win a game in Houston with such raw ability, with not even a lot of time on task, you were still able to go out there and do that.
Yeah.
Not that you were still able to miss several games, even in that span, and do it even while you were still hurt. So you weren't even a proficient player, and to play against the best of the best without having a good knee and a good finger, you still go out there and win a pressurized game. Saying if you don't win this, y'all go home.
I gotta say,
the capability to sit there and still do that at 21 years old, you were fresh 21 years old, and to give, and I ain't gonna say they gave, but whatever the case may be, but to know that somebody who has the brain capacity, who hasn't had a time on task, or as Malcolm Gladwell would say, he didn't put in his 10,000 hours yet, but he's already shown
10,000 hours.
You have shown flickers at such a young age to be able to still compete with these players.
And I gotta add on to that to realize and see some deficiencies in your game and go out on your own and work to change said deficiencies. I have been tipping my cap to this guy to get out there and grind and make a swing change basically in golf to get down there and correct these things. That says an incredible, and please believe I preach
so hard to do. People
the will of this kid is something spectacular.
And you
both
was talking
exceptional
about it earlier,
young men.
And you were talking about it earlier, Terry, about man, I thought that this is something I think people I went to school, health, physical education, and recreation as well. And so when it comes to like the biomechanics and how the body works, you know what I mean? It's very important people know that your body, you have everything is strung together. You know what I'm saying? You have your functional movements and then you have your stationary movements. And we all know that your core strength is extremely important in every sport there is. And you brought up the injury history of Tom Brady. Well, it wasn't injury history. You were just talking about how they were rebuilding his throwing motion with what's my guy name you was mentioning? The quarterback.
Tom House.
Tom House.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the importance of how he was rebuilding Tom Brady's throwing motion and making it more efficient and less torque on other parts of his body so he can stay healthy throughout his entirety of his career. And same thing with Steph Curry. He had a lot of injuries growing up. Everybody know it was his lower movement. His base was very fickle because he didn't have a very good, strong core, and also his abductor and his abductors muscle was very tight. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so therefore it caused a lot of injuries with his ankle because he couldn't get his body weight supported properly on his ankles. Because therefore it caused a lot of injuries. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. He had
And
ankle
so
injuries early. Yes, sir.
reconnect his body again. And I tell people it's so hard to keep up those fundamentals. But the thing about Trey that people don't realize, and I know he's gone, he probably be gone for the 49ers, but I tell people this is the good thing about him not having 10,000 hours on his throwing mechanics. He wasn't so ingratiated into the natural movement of throwing the ball that he was still moldable. See, there's a lot of quarterbacks that if they have been throwing
There
that ball
you go.
4 years to 5 years straight, they could not in one offseason
Yeah.
in less than 4 months, where you
Yes,
couldn't
sir.
even necessarily play in January, February, or in December, but to sit there in a short amount of time, redefine your throwing motion, and not only to do it, but to keep it up against real live action and bullets
That's
in such
very
a short
impressive.
amount of time, you got to understand the brain capacity,
That's
the
very
ability
impressive.
to
'Cause
regurgitate that type of
I
information,
I
and then
gotta
for the
be
guy to
honest.
spit that
I
out.
gotta be honest. I didn't think I really didn't think he could do it. You know, it's one thing to do it without live bullets, but with people around you, hey, you revert back to your old stuff. You lock out your leg and
Yeah,
you move that post, and
yes.
the old you will come out. It will come out. But that is very impressive by the young man. I gotta admit.
And,
And,
and
and,
that's
and
why
your
I like
your
and I
hypothesis is
people like
correct.
you.
He hadn't molded that
Yeah,
into and ingrained that bad habit. It's like playing golf. If you ever pick up golf for the first time, go to a PGA professional the first time.
uh-huh.
Don't get out there trying to swing it on your own, because you will learn and ingrain some of the worst habits, and you will be fighting it all your life.
Hey, yo, look, your swing. Oh my
You,
God,
you,
and your
the
swing
old,
is so
you,
different,
you'll
and
look
it's
like
so
Charles
hard.
Barkley.
Oh my God, look, you have a look, or even man, listen here. That's why I tell people I don't mind people having a difference of opinion if you love the game of football.
Oh
And so
yes,
even when you talk about like Trey Lance mechanics, if you look at even how he threw the ball, his reaction was at his follow through of his release, his right arm snapped back. It had a recoil, and it would jump back to his eye level whenever he threw the ball. And
yes,
that
sir.
was a very weird situation. If you saw somebody throw the ball, like, man, why is it when you throw it, your hand like
Yeah, it's
ricochet back into your face? Yeah,
like
I'm like, good Lord, who does that? But
yeah.
even to stop that as something that you done every time as your release point, y'all got to realize that is hard to do. But
Yeah,
I love it when people can see those things and talk about it, because
I do.
that makes the
That
game of
was very,
football
very,
fun.
very impressive for him. That's very impressive. Let me get back to David
All right, my
Corona.
guy, man. Hey,
He's
appreciate
off
you for
his
your time, man.
medical. He's off his medical Wi-Fi. Hey, shout me back out, man. I'm gonna be on with East Coast Red and Gold, man. We're gonna be chopping up. Well, Nanny done gave us new news, but we're gonna be chopping up the 53-man roster, man.
For sure. All right, my guy.
And
Y'all
some
take it
people
easy,
gotta
man.
go. All right, brother. Love you. David
Yeah,
Corona, you here, man? You here?
I'm back.
Hey, good to see you, man. You,
Yeah,
you
you
at the
too, man.
doctor? Yeah, the doctor's office, man. Yeah, you can't
Yeah, I
trust
was at the
them.
doctor's office.
let,
Yeah.
let me get a little caught up on some stuff here. In terms of say we got Diamond D at LBC. Oh man, that's dope right there. It's Diamond D at the LBC. I go to St. John's University. He says Hoyer, Beathard, Mullins, Jimmy, now Darnold. Kyle has a type. Ooh. I think one of
Don't
these.
forget Brock Purdy and you know what I mean?
Well, I think he's looking at sorry, quarterbacks. Anyway, Collie says facts. James Edwards, he was with the Pistons too, right? James Edwards, he had a big mustache. I remember James Edwards.
James Hardy?
James Edwards.
James Edwards.
That was way back in the day. We were talking about the Detroit Pistons, man. We got
Okay.
soliloquy about how the Pistons. I respect the Pistons because they went at Jordan back in the day, and they made Jordan work for it. He had to get over the hump, and even though he's the greatest player to ever live in perspective, everybody's just talking so much about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can be beat too, and we're gonna have to beat Patrick Mahomes if we're gonna win the Super Bowl. So,
Exactly.
it takes a team effort. I just can't get out here and just give him the title. Oh, you Patrick Mahomes. Hey, take my title. Take my Lombardi. It's yours.
Right.
Mahomes. Ooh, I ain't all about that. Pippen and Ho Grant had to man up and mature. Yeah, man. Pippen.
But look at who was the head coach for the Bulls, though. You know what I mean? Phil Jackson.
Phil. Yeah, but at first it wasn't. It was what's his name? Doug Collins was there initially, man, and they had some success with Doug Collins. But hey, you had to make a change, upgrade to Phil Jackson. But he wasn't Phil Jackson that we know now. We have something called revisionist history,
right?
And sometimes we can lionize people and say, like with Tom Brady, for example, he done won 7 titles, went to 10 Super Bowls, and
that's crazy, bro.
Back in 2001, they had Tom Brady. Tom Brady won't Tom Brady that now. It wasn't capital T O M capital B R ADY then. It was little T then. It was little B, and there was that great defense with Vrabel and McKenzie, and they had Ty Law back there, and they had they just had a wonderful defense, a great running game, and Adam Vinatieri kicking at the end, and they just barely made it over to. They had a couple of fortunate things happen. That tuck rule that I had never heard. Man, I've been playing football.
It should have been the Raiders and the Rams that year.
I'm like, what the hell is a tuck rule? That's an intercept.
That was a bad call. That was a bad call.
And yeah, they corrected it, I think, like 10 years later. But it takes a little luck. It takes a little, getting the and at the time, man, the greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner and Isaac
Bruce, Terry Holt, Marshall Faulk,
Ricky Pro.
Yeah.
They were running people off the track. They were putting up points like it won't know tomorrow. The Patriots were 17-point underdogs. We hadn't seen anything like that probably since the Colts versus the Jets Super Bowl III, with Joe Namath guarantees a touchdown, guarantees a victory, and he runs off the field waving the number 1. Where's my camera? Waving the number 1 in the air. He wasn't Tom Brady then. It wasn't this big duel of quarterback. It was like you're going in there to get stomped out, and we got to remember these things when we're looking at a young Brock Purdy, a young Trey Lance, a young up and coming guy. They weren't these great super duper Super Bowl winning people first. You come in and you get it, and then you build on it. Brian Cup, real quick. I am moving stoves and refrigerators. It's hot and cold. I am glad to listen. Hey man, it's hot and hey, stay hydrated out there, man.
I think Patrick Mahomes gonna pass Tom Brady on the rings. You know what I mean?
When he does, I will give him the mantle. That's another conversation we were having. To me, I was arguing in Parker Hall in 1991. They was talking about how Jordan's going to be the GOAT and this and that. I said, man, when Jordan can win 5, like my man Magic Johnson, you let me know. This is team sports. And then around 1997, he put it in the rearview mirror. So now Jordan
beat Utah. Yes.
Jordan hangs on my banner. So when that happens, everybody let me know. But I know
for my favorite players for basketball,
I know Tom Brady has beat Patrick Mahomes head to head in the postseason. Go ahead.
Yeah, my 5 best players for basketball is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I used to like Vince Carter back in the days. He was badass.
Vince is bad, man.
Man, that's 3. Shaq And then who's my fifth guy? Reggie
Reggie
used to play for
Miller.
it. Reggie Miller. Yep.
Oh, Reggie Miller, key from that. Man, that's an impressive squad right there. Because you got inside, outside. You got Shaq. Oh my God, Shaq was devastating, man.
Oh
Shaq,
yeah, he was a
it,
beast,
it was
man.
it was a man amongst boys, man. If
I
it
I
it,
think
it, it, it
I
won't
think
not
if Kobe and Shaq didn't get separated,
oh yeah,
I think they could have won at least 5 more championships together. At
yeah,
least maybe 4.
yeah. I think maybe too much. They were just so volatile at the time, man. They just egos playing into it, and then somebody said something, and diming each other, or whatever the case. But man, together, man, it was so beautiful from 1999 to about 2003. They just
Yeah.
it's just beautiful to watch, man. We were
They
just
just they just got mad because
taking them
the
apart.
guy wanted to be the top guy, Kobe and Shaq, but it's only could be one top guy, and they kept Kobe instead of Shaq. But they should have kept them together more years to come. But
Yeah, I think you move heaven and earth. Whatever you got to do, man. You keep that together. Yeah,
that what
get
happened to that
get him get him a
the
counselor or something.
Pacers, or not the Pacers, the Detroit Pistons that year when they lost.
Yep, exactly. Uh, we talked about that too, man. They got hold of us. Of course, Kobe was going through a little something, and
But the referees making some bad
Kobe was
calls
going
though
through
on
something a
us.
little in Vail, Colorado. It was, he had to. We were distracted a little bit, but I can't take nothing away from those '05 Pistons. Y'all came out and ball. My man, shout out to Ben Wallace. He went to Virginia Union University, my
Oh hell yeah!
alma mater. So and they had who was this kid? Rip Hamilton, who could run your tongue out. I think he could run a mile in
Phillips,
about
Phillips too.
6 minutes. Chauncey Billups. They had
Yeah.
who else? Who was that one with the long arms? Tayshaun Prince, who
Oh
he
yeah,
looked,
yeah.
like Stretch Armstrong, man. He, if you already 6'7", but your wingspan is somewhere around 7'4", it's kind of unfair,
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
you can't project that thing. He just
But
plastic.
he couldn't stop Shaq though. They're just making bad calls on us so we could lose, and Kobe and Shaq could get separated. That's what they did.
And we were top heavy. We really didn't have a bench to go at Rip Hamilton and everything that I can remember. And they ran us off the floor, man. I think it was
Yeah,
four
they
to
did. They did. They
four to
did.
one. They got us.
Yeah,
It
they got
happened.
us.
You can't win every time. And speaking of winning every time, let me give a shameless plug to on the Max app. It used to be HBO Max. Winning time with the Los Angeles Lakers. And even if you're not a Laker fan, just go back and watch. It's a wonderful series. And it takes on the 1980 Los Angeles Lakers and some unseen behind the scenes story, kind of unauthorized biographic or autobiographic stuff. And man, the actors and actresses they got playing Jeannie Buss, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It will, man, you do double takes a couple times because the I think his name is Isaiah.
Isaiah Hamilton.
No, Isaiah. You gonna
I
make me.
knew who you're talking about.
He looks so much like young Magic Johnson. It ain't funny, man. It ain't funny at all. But let me get back to our original premise. I done got all off topic, y'all.
Yeah,
I
that's all
suppose
right.
let me hit this real quick, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Breaking news. Breaking news. What has
Nick
brought
Bosa
me
signed?
out today? Breaking news. Here it comes right here. The San Francisco 49ers have officially said that Sam Darnold is named QB2. Sam Darnold will be named
Wow.
QB2 for the season. This is from Ian Rappaport, as reported by Tom Pelissero. Very, very credible sources. They have put Brock Purdy at 3. And then we have other breaking news. I'm gonna go live, try to put this in there, share the screen, bring this up, and boom. Today at practice, there was no Trey Lance at practice. There was no
That's
Trey Lance
all.
at
That's all
practice.
bad. That's all bad
Yeah.
for Trey Lance.
So
All bad.
this is what is going on as we take place. I haven't had any further updates. Well, we got
What about Nick Bosa? He hasn't signed yet?
No. This has been the news. As you see, trending right now in terms of sports. This Trey Lance thing is trending, and Twitter is melting, as reported by the great Bryant Cope. And I think we got Fred Warner. Let's listen to Fred talk.
Pretty newsy day as far as what's going on at the quarterback position. What, as one of the team leaders, what's kind of been your take on it, and kind of gauge the temperature of the locker room right now?
I mean, honestly, I don't know much about the situation. Like, complete honesty, I came out to practice. I saw there's only 3 quarterbacks out there. Trey's not out there, so I mean, I'm trying to ask around what's going on. There's not a clear answer right now. Obviously, love Trey. I don't know what's going on with him right now or what's going to be next. But, yeah, we just got to keep preparing, get ready. We have a game on Friday. Keep preparing towards Pittsburgh, getting better. But with the QB stuff, I'm honestly not even sure what exactly is going on. So,
Life in the NFL, you kind of focus on next day preparation and don't concern yourself with teammates and that kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that you honestly don't even know about. Obviously, there's a football part of it. There's a business part of it. There's things that you can't control and that you can control. My biggest thing is always controlling the controllables, doing what I can to be the best player, best teammate, best leader I can for our team. So we just got to control what we can control at this point.
And
that's crazy.
Fred at the podium. Thoughts, everyone, as we get some
I think that's bad news for Trey.
What you got? It, in the grand scheme of things, and this is me reading the tea leaves. Usually when you're not at practice and you're a healthy scratch, they are protecting you from injury of any sorts, because they are planning to move on. They're planning to either trade you or release you some kind of way. It's usually the trade option, because you don't want to medically mess your trade up with him going out to practice, being in the facility. If he gets hurt in any way in that facility, it is on you. You're on the hook for all of that money and then some. He's got to show up at the next team, take a physical, and make sure everything is A-okay for this trade to be solidified. So
I think the Falcons might pick him up.
And that's just me. That's just me reading tea leaves. That's usually how it goes down in the NFL. I'm gonna get to some of these chats. Oh, go ahead, Dave. You got some things you want to.
I'm just saying, it's not looking good for him. But like what you said, you might be on the trading block, and we don't want him to get hurt. So like maybe the Falcons want to pick him up, or maybe he go back to an old coach, McDaniel, and Dolphins. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Could. It's all speculation at this point until we get some more news, or until my man. If y'all got anything, hey, drop it in the chat, man. Drop it in the chat.
But what we could get for Trey Lance right now if we do trade him?
We
What's
will
up,
see.
Raphael?
I guess with his performance last week, which was pretty sharp and pretty impressive, especially towards the end, that might have triggered some teams to say, "Hey, all right, we took a flyer on this rookie." You got some people who took rookie quarterbacks, Indianapolis, some other folks, and they might be like, "We're ready to make moves."
It's like that's how I see it for Trey Lance. When he comes in, he doesn't get the first round players. like Sam Darnold does. He comes in with the third or fourth string guys, and he's not looking that good. But he hasn't played with the first string guys yet. So when he comes out and play, he looks shaky or scared. He should not be doing that. He should be going out there, just do your game and play your game, and you be all right. The team will help you out. So that's how I feel.
Should we be confident in our QB2? Raphael562 says, and thank you, Crazy Juice, for letting me know that actor's name is Quincy Isaiah. He does a wonderful job, Crazy Juice, man. He looks so much like Magic when he was younger. Should we be confident in our QB2? Sam Darnold's, he's serviceable.
And for Sam Darnold too, no more excuses for him. He's on the right good team with players around him. He's not on the Jets or the Panthers no more. So he's on the right team with good players. No more excuses for him. No more ghosts.
No more ghosts. No more ghosts. Of course, I wish we would have went and got a tackle on the third round, but I'm not saying anything. Are those waffles? Bebop, you got me on that one. Are those waffles?
Waffle. What are you saying? Are those waffles?
I got to think about what he's saying. He might have caught me. Me and
off guard.
Me and Twin were talking about so many different subjects. And
okay.
Biomechanics and all types of stuff. Raphael Pass 629 says, make it make sense. Why we give up on Lance so easy, but give a million chances to Kinlaw.
Yeah, that's right.
If you check me out in about 2 hours, we're going to be on the East Coast Red and Gold podcast with my girl Jess and Matt and Deb and the Copes. We're going to whittle this down to a 53-man roster, and all of us have got to switch up a little bit, I'm sure, from today's news. So you might see how I would handle the Kinlaw situation there, Raphael. So tune in tonight at 8.
You know what? For me, for Kinlaw, sorry about that. For Kinlaw, I'll pin him for a backup with Jake Jackson. When Jake Jackson gets tired or whatever, bring Kinlaw, and he can help him a little bit. You know what I mean? Get two or three snaps, and after that, bring Jake Jackson back in, and he can wait it out. That's how I see it.
He's definitely a rotational piece to me. He's not, I hate to say I'm just giving up on a kid, man, and no disrespect to him as a young guy. Everybody's a kid to me. I'm 53 now, so but it's just like I just keep seeing the same thing, and we got just so dented in the run game, man. I just hate to see.
And you said your birthday was in August 21?
No, that's my dad's birthday, August 21.
Oh, your dad. Oh, okay.
But it's just uncharacteristic for us to see the San Francisco 49ers get gouged running the ball like that. And it was our number ones that was out there, and that was Kinlaw and Armistead. And I don't like what I'm seeing. Bebop Jones says Buccaneers, maybe.
The name the starter, Baker Mayfield, the starter.
Wow, Baker Mayfield started for the Bucs.
Yep.
Who's their backup?
Not too sure. Yes. But he's the number one quarterback for the Buccaneers right now. They name him the starter.
Wow. Well,
yep. And look at the Raiders. Raiders start Jimmy G too.
Yeah. Who do you got back? I really like that rookie that they got, O'Connell. He's okay. He's pretty solid. I think. Ishmael O, it gives me the scrunchy face emoji. I think that means he's not very happy with the news. I can understand why. 49ers Ultimate Report. What? Terradome? Yeah, man. That came in. It broke about 350. I went live at, good Lord. I went at 350.
I'm here at 2 hours already.
Yeah, man. I'm just going.
I think you went live at 12 because I was at the doctor's office.
It's been 2 hours.
I was there at 12. I got there at 12:53. about 12:55.
Wow. Yeah. It's been a minute. 2 hours and 13 minutes, 35 seconds is up at the top. I'm going. I'm going. Crazy Juice, maybe Minnesota. I'd heard Minnesota. That's where he's originally from. And
Wow.
and they got, Kirk Cousins up there now, who is kind of, cycling out as so to speak. Kirk Cousins has made a yuck of money, man. Kirk Cousins, he took the deal amongst deals when he was with Washington. I think they franchised him twice, and then he went to Minnesota, several guaranteed money. Kirk Cousins got loot. Kirk Cousins got paper, and that doesn't necessarily translate to playoff wins or primetime wins. But nonetheless, Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback. But I think they're ready to move on from Kirk Cousins, and if that is a landing spot for him, that would be that'd be advantageous. I think maybe a fifth, if that. I think Raphael 562 is saying in reference to draft value, maybe somebody will give us a fifth. I'm hoping a little bit more, because what did we give up? Three? Was that 3 first? We moved up to
3
there?
first-round picks for Lance.
Well, you ain't getting them 3 first-round picks. Yeah, you can hang that up, John J.
I say a third. I say a third and a fourth.
Yeah, maybe so. We going to be in bad shape if Moody don't step up his game. I think not Maine. Oh, don't step up, Maine. Yeah, all right. I got it. I got to read it as I say it. Yes, sir. Moody. All right, man. I know Brian Cup in the chat. Brian Cup is our resident. I call Brian Cup the Adam Vinatieri of the San Francisco 49ers. He's the kicker extraordinaire. But yeah, man, you get a third round kicker. Hey, baby. He just hasn't been able to take his practice work ethic to the live game, and that's always been a sore spot. He did okay. He hit the game winner last week, so maybe he gets.
There shouldn't be no excuses. You know what I mean? If he got drafted in the third round, there shouldn't be no excuses why he's missing.
It shouldn't be, but man, we know how the NFL is. And speaking of kickers, let me bring my main man in, man. This man is the man amongst men. I am crazy about Mr. Brian Cup. Come on in the chat. How you doing, bro? What's up, Brian? What you got, bro?
Hey, how you guys doing?
All right.
It's melting today, ain't
it? This internet is moving. Twitter is moving and grooving. What do you got to say, bro?
It's just one of those things. It's we can't always. Nobody's been traded yet, so everybody can calm down. The season's not over. The season hasn't started yet, and your draft selection, your price on your salary shouldn't really matter. At the end of the day, if the coach wants you to start, the coach is going to put you out there. And for people to be upset and say, hey, this guy's getting paid this much money, and he's not starting, let's just get rid of him. Okay, but maybe there's a reason he's not starting. Maybe there's a reason he's getting paid what he's getting paid. We don't see all the underlyings that's happening in the locker room, the meeting rooms. And hey, David, I love you too, but like for Jake Moody, there's no excuses. First off, Justin Tucker, one of the best kickers in the NFL, went 4 out of 8 for his first preseason games. So for Jake Moody to come in and miss a couple, it's preseason. We can calm down a little bit about it. And like one thing you got to take in mind and consideration is he hasn't been kicking inside Levi's. He's been kicking out there on the field, the regular practice field. And you're like, oh well, it's a field goal, it's a post. You're supposed to kick through it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's a little different. It is a little different. The stadium does have some swirling winds that you have to get used to. All stadiums do. But if you see, and if you're listening to what happens afterwards, like the next day, I think against the Raiders, he comes out and kicks a 61-yarder. The next, this week, he missed a point after try, but he basically won the game at the end. And they were trying to get him to win the game. They were holding the offense back, if you noticed. they were setting it up so he can gain his confidence. And, it's one of those things. And then I think earlier too, like, I'm not attacking you, David, but saying like Trey Lance hasn't played with the ones and, he does bad with the 3s and 4s. If you're that good to start with the ones, or you should be starting with the ones, shouldn't you elevate the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s? Shouldn't you be the superstar on the field that brings everybody else up? So if your play isn't bringing other people up, then you're not necessarily a 1, are you? And I'm not saying that's about Trey or anything like that. Trey should get to play with the ones too. We should all get to see everybody play with the ones, because at this time we don't know what quarterback's going to be in what game and what not. Pterodome, I was listening to Grant Cohn yesterday, and he was throwing it out there as a suggestion. Maybe they're going to, have Sam Darnold quarterback 2 against the Steelers. Quarterback 3 will be Trey, but then next week, the following week, it might be Trey, depending on the situation of, who's going to be the scout quarterback or what the offense is going to be looking like for that week. Ideally, it's going to be Brock Purdy all year, but if they go up against a team that might, be, what's the word, elusive, or has a hard time dealing with a quarterback of, Trey's stats, I don't see them not pulling him in. And just because he's third doesn't mean that they won't pull him in for a gimme or something during the regular season. So, like, I just think, man, it's something to get people to start making noise. And maybe Twitter's just been too quiet, and they just wanted to get all of us to start making noise. But yeah, don't feed into everything. Don't feed the bear, guys. Be Yogi and Boo Boo. Enjoy the picnic. And that's what we got for the season. We'll find it out. It's not what we necessarily want, but it's not what we don't want. They're obviously trying to push themselves for a Super Bowl, and if they do go ahead and trade Trey Lance, hopefully, like you were saying, Pterodome, maybe we go and get a right tackle. Maybe we get, maybe we get some capital, or somebody that is going to help this team this year win a Super Bowl. And if they're truly, truly not comfortable at Trey, then let him go somewhere else. Let the man go somewhere else and go somewhere else and see if he can do it. Because to hold him back and say, oh, well, he's this quarterback and we don't want to look bad. No, they don't care if they look bad. They just want the capital out of him that they got for him.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' thoughts?
Yeah.
I agree.
You got to do something, man, because this is you said it right, man. Twitter is melting. It is hot Trey Lance topics. People are making memes. We saw that fight in the stands, and it could have. I guess it could have been something else, maybe, but it looks like Niner on Niner. Man, let me share my screen and just let's talk about this a little bit. This was I talked about this on my show Monday. Let's share it real quick.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Tuesday. Yeah, let me take it back.
Oh wow. Damn.
Yeah. It happened in front of kids and everything.
That's crazy.
And it's all 49er fans.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's kind of dumb. They're probably drunk and stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're lathered up a little. Look at this security lady trying to that guy.
Honestly, this might not be something that everybody wants to hear, but they should honestly kick all those people out. All of them that was in that little area, just kick them out.
Devastated here. He got devastated. Jerry Rice jersey. He did a little number on him.
Damn, that fool got cracked.
Yeah.
He's all bleeding.
Yeah, he's leaking oil. He's leaking oil.
Oh yeah. It's kind of stupid.
And
we don't know what was said or whatnot, but to fight at a game,
and I don't know for sure. I can't say for certain it was this topic, but what I did talk about was a spirit of divisiveness that I have not seen for quite some times. Again, we didn't have Twitter when it was the early 90s with Joe Montana and Steve Young. There were some people, a faction who wanted to see the kid play. They want and the resident kid was Steve Young, but it was some contingent like myself, man. In no way, shape, form, or fashion are you getting Joe Montana. A healthy Joe Montana is worth all the tea in China. No way you make this switch, man. And this Steve Young sat here for, I think it was the better half of 6 years before he actually played and resumed a starting role for the San Francisco 49ers. Joe started getting injuries in 86. It was a NFC championship, very much similar to what Brock Purdy went through. It was a big lineman, man. He eventually wound up playing for us, Jim Burt. And I ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil, Brian Culp. He remembers Jim Burt. Man, he came through on a pass and he hit Joe Montana, man. You could feel it in the daggone living room. When you had the big floor model television, he hit Joe, and Joe's, I think his back and neck and everything was hurt. Then he just started catching these series of injuries. He needed surgeries and things of that nature. And Bill Walsh and his forward thinking brought in Steve Young, who was in Tampa initially with the USFL, and I was in the Army with some people who had played with Steve Young in the USFL in the 90s, and they just said, y'all got one of the most marvelous athletes on the field. He said Steve Young was faster than everybody on our team. He said that included DBs, that included wide receivers, that included running backs. He said Steve Young is bad, man. Steve Young fast. And he later would go on to show how fast he really, really was. But at the time, man, this was the late 80s, and people wanted to see Steve Young, but again, we didn't have Twitter then. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all of these platforms, and people, constantly bickering with their dissonance and their disdains and their put downs and things of that nature. So on a visual basis, man, I keep seeing, or I can't stand he. So and so could never do that, and this guy will never be this, and this guy is better than he'll ever be. And it just, God speaks to my heart sometimes, and he kind of tugged on me. He said, it might be better if both parties kind of got away from each other, because something's powder kegging out here. And not saying that's what's going to happen, but this is
the USFL, Los Angeles Express. That was what Steve Young was on.
Yeah,
and he didn't cash any of his checks that he played for them. He put them in his drawer because he already had money, and he felt bad. He really felt bad for the team, and because he was supposed to be the $1 million man. It was like $10 million man or something like that. So
it was $40
million. Thank you.
Yeah.
$40 million man. And
I was like, oh, he's paid.
He was supposed to go to Cincinnati, but he chose to go to the USFL. And when he was there, they had so many injuries. He stopped playing quarterback and started playing running back to let the other quarterbacks, help the team. And he started playing as a running back. Really? Because he's an athlete. And he went to Tampa Bay. He probably would have done better in Tampa Bay, if he maybe just lasted there longer. But he was really raw.
They were garbage.
He was pretty raw on a lot of things. And when he did come to San Francisco, I think what you were saying, 87, I think that is when he came.
It was right. Yeah, right. It had to be around 87. 87 was when he came. Yeah.
Because Steve Young won Steve Young's got 3 Super Bowls with the Niners. And it's the 87, the 88, or is it the 88, 89?
88,
and then he's got
89.
the 94.
Yeah, he's got the
we missed
the coronation. He got that one with Seifert where we blew him out 55-10, and he's got that one the Harris Barton. Hey, Look, John Candy down there, man. Look at John Candy. We won in Miami in the last second. John Taylor. I think that was Z
What
Wright. Z Wright
what
over.
happened? Terry, I'm so sorry. What happened in '91? Because it was like '90 was the repeat, the three-peat that could have happened. That's when Craig fumbled,
Yeah.
and that's when Montana got hurt in the championship, and that's the reason Steve went in, right? Because Steve didn't
Yeah.
take us there. So we were still going to positively go to the Super Bowl with Steve as our quarterback, but the '91 season we missed the playoffs.
No, we were in it. We were in that three-peat season. We were going.
No,
Roger
but the
Craig makes the
91 the
fumble.
91 season was it 1991 we missed the playoffs?
No, we made it in 91. And the next year,
92?
yeah, it would have had to been the next year. I think we go
Because
to
90
the playoffs where we lose. I think we lose to the Redskins, who eventually go on and win it. Yeah, if I'm thinking, I know the Redskins win the Super Bowl that year because it was Bills,
yeah.
then the Redskins that are now the Commanders. Let me be politically correct, and then the Cowboys
Yeah.
won twice, and then we win, and then the Cowboys again.
Hey, did you hear that? Sorry to bounce around a little bit, but did you hear that the Washington Commanders are now asking for their team to be turned back to the Redskins? The
Oh.
fans are asking for it now that they have new ownership.
They can ask. It's like
I don't think it's going to get changed, but
yeah,
that's what they're asking.
You can request anything. You can sue anybody in America. It doesn't mean you're gonna get. It's gonna go in your favor, and you can request anything. God says it in His Word. Let your requests be known. But it's just a request. I don't think they'll go.
Yeah, they got a big petition. No, but they got a big petition, and a lot of the
Over there
older
too,
Redskin
no?
fans.
He's half of the owners.
What's that, Corona?
Magic Johnson's over there. He's the half owner of the Commanders now.
Yeah, and he is not an unpolitically savvy guy. So, he doesn't strike me as a guy. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. No, he's not that type of guy. I would like to see the Washington Warriors, but that's just my vote. Aloha, Smitty. Aloha. Look, he's living it life. Shout out to Maui, by the way, man. Just terrible things that happened to the city with those wildfires. But he says Tampa or Vikings for I think the possible landing spots. We're talking about landing spots for Trey if he were to and do get traded. And Corona made up the not the argument, but he brought it to the point that they got Baker Mayfield starting. I didn't realize Tampa had Baker Mayfield, but I would I would like to see Trey go up against Baker Mayfield. I think he could, he could make.
I'd like to see him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go to Tennessee.
There's another spot too. And they just got DeAndre Hopkins, who I did a show on, man, how DeAndre Hopkins has made every quarterback look good, regardless of stature, regardless of where you came in on the draft or anything else. So that'd be a ideal landing spot as well for him to flourish. Offensive line, our biggest weakness. Ishmael O says, "Yeah, bro, I wanted us to get a tackle so bad. I wanted DeWand Jones of the Ohio State University. He's up in Cleveland mauling people. They had an inter-squad scrimmage with I think it was the Eagles, and DeWand Jones is just handling folks. And I got pushed back. Ishmael, I got pushed back. They said, "Oh, he's too big to play for us." I'm like, "Too big? You better put somebody out there. You getting quarterbacks cracked up. You need 4 quarterbacks a year. You better get somebody. I want somebody even bigger on that right side to scare people." And if you think about it, man, if you got a truck on one side and a freight train on the other, a rhino on one side and a silverback on the other, hey, where you gonna put your pass rusher? Hey, that's just me. But
Terradome,
man, the
what?
right side of offensive line. Go ahead, bud.
Why aren't they running that Gutierrez guy? Why aren't we getting to see him out there at all? He's like the biggest lineman we got, right?
Who is that? Gutierrez? I
Yeah.
noticed in the game I didn't see him get any burn. Did you see him play?
No. And I was upset too because they didn't let him play last year in the Cardinal game in Mexico.
I know that was going to be right up his alley. I don't think he dressed. Did he dress?
I think he got to carry the flag. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
that was it. That was it. But
Yeah.
that's another
Hey,
one of
before
our projects.
before I jump off, you guys remember the Cardinal game, the first Cardinal game in Mexico? Niners went down there with like Tim Rattay and we got our butt kicked really bad. Um, the reason the Cardinals got the crowd pumped is they came out with the Mexican flag at the beginning of the game.
Wow.
So this year, like last year, we did it. And I think we got it because the first game, the Niners were, really dominant down there as a fan base. But because the Niners didn't really, do too much with the flag or, show their love for Mexico,
There you go.
the Cardinals, they stole the crowd, right? From people with Niner jerseys were rooting for the Cardinals that first game. And in this game, hopefully, they didn't do that. But we got the crowd on our side. So, tear it down. Let me get back. And David,
All right,
it's
my
always
brother,
fun talking with
man.
you guys too. And
Thanks. Hey,
everybody,
thanks for chipping in.
calm down. He hasn't been traded yet. Calm down. The sky is not falling. Later, guys.
Later,
See you later,
man.
bro.
All right.
I think John Jay's in the back stage.
I got him. I'm going to bring up right now, Mr. John Jay. What's up, John Jay? Well, John Jay.
What's up, Terradome? What's up, Corona?
What's up, man?
Yeah, we just kicking it, man. I went with breaking news earlier, but it has gone on to, I feel like Dan Rather, your intrepid reporter back in the day with election night 2000. What are your comments, man? I'll get to some of these chats, and I want to respect everybody in my chat. But go ahead, talk about it, man. It looks like Trey didn't come to practice, and to me, the tea leaves say they're looking to trade him. So go ahead, and it's your world.
Yeah, and like I did a show on my channel, I wasn't planning on doing a show till tonight. And then, this news came out, and, everyone's talking about it. And the way I look at it is that we have to slow down and look at it as a NFL business, decision. It has nothing to do with the kid. There's nothing wrong with Trey. He's not a bad quarterback. This is a business decision. Kyle, as the head coach, has made a decision. Brock Purdy, I like him. I want him to start. I want him to start with the starters, and I want a backup. And he made the decision where I would rather have Sam Darnold as the backup. So you got to look at it as a business decision. That's what Kyle wants. He's looking at what he's doing, business wise, to win a Super Bowl. He believes those are the two quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. That's the head coach. Then Trey Lance. Has he been demoted to the third string quarterback? That's probably how it's looked like if he's going to be on this roster for this season. But the writing's on the wall. And I think Trey needs to go to a place where he is appreciate, where the coach is going to play him. He's going to make his mistakes. And over time, could develop and become an NFL caliber quarterback. That's called the business of the NFL. So now you look at the 49ers, and the 49er fans, are showing their voice, and there are many who are upset. I get it. I'm a big fan of Trey Lance, but maybe Kyle made a mistake, or maybe just Kyle just lost his faith in Trey Lance. We don't know, but that's the reality that's going on right now. So we, as 49er faithfuls, if you want to call yourself a 49er fan, we want now to put all our faith in Brock Purdy. We want him to stay healthy. We want him to win games. And I say this not to be disrespectful, but if you don't like this decision and you're angry about it, and you want Trey to start, there are 31 other NFL teams that you can go support. I'm gonna support this team just like a good friend of mine would say until I'm dead and cold. I love the 49ers, no matter if the decision is not something that I want, but we have to rally around Brock Purdy and hope that he doesn't get hurt. And we should start to put our support to support to support Brock Purdy to stay healthy and hopefully give us that Lombardi. That's how I look at it in the most rational way. But now comes my distaste of the organization. Like I've said it when I streamed earlier. We were doing the same thing when we drafted Alex Smith. We did the same thing to Colin Kaepernick. We did the same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. And we said the same thing about Trey Lance. Why do we always put these players on a pedestal and we call them the next Joe Montana? And I think that's the real problem. That's the reason why every time I see a good quarterback that's successful for one season, I want to see it again and again and again, because we haven't had a real franchise quarterback since Steve Young suffered that concussion that forced him to retire. So I just want a quarterback that's healthy and plays lights out year after year. So that's just my thoughts.
And those are some wonderful thoughts.
Yeah, I agree.
What you got, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying. Like, we haven't had a quarterback for a million years, and like we need a quarterback stay healthy and keep on playing good, and could take us to the Super Bowl and win it. And yeah, I agree with John Jay saying.
Here. If we do trade him, we gotta trade up. We gotta get. I'd rather have a solid tackle, right tackle, or something that helps us in the run game, something that helps us in the pass game, and versus a pick or picks. So the notion of picks, I just picks are just what they are, man. You pick boogers, you pick, you're behind. I just hate picks. I prescribe, and I hope no LA fans are in here, but I'm just like, the LA guys on those picks, man. I don't care about those. We need to get better. We need to be more solidified. I am so sorry that things, didn't flourish here for Trey Lance the way we thought they were. And usually disappointment is the counterpart of, or the inverse antithesis of expectation. A lot of us had an expectation for Trey Lance based on what we gave up to get him, based on how much capital was used to ascertain him. And when this didn't come and didn't come as early as it was supposed to, pause. Some of us felt some way. Some of us bought into the hype of him being a bust, and I would not in any way, shape, form, or fashion call this man a bust. It was just the fact that there are a set of unseen circumstances that surrounded Trey Lance just really not flourishing to the magnitude that we thought and the speed that we thought it could happen. And one of those things was the pivotal injury against Seattle week 2 last year. But he has shown incredible, what they say, moxie, or an incredible drive, an incredible will, an incredible fortitude to clean up some of the things that he obviously heard was holding him back in terms of his throwing motion, in terms of learning the game. And we have to take into consideration always the fact that it's unprecedented that we got a quarterback who only had basically a whole year as a freshman, a true freshman at that, I'm believing, and one game as a sophomore, and then throw him into the Wolves as a NFL, which means not for long, quarterback in the National Football League. It's unprecedented. Usually, again, I go to the Bill Parcells rule. I got them written down on an Excel sheet. You know, he wanted a guy, the profile for a franchise quarterback in his eyes had to have gone to college at least 3 years. He wanted somebody who had graduated, who had played at least 30 games, won 23 of them, 66% affected the way that the university had changed itself around, and he felt somewhat solidified in his choice to be a quarterback. And we got somebody with roughly, he had 12 wins in a college season, 12, maybe 13 with the playoffs. And, you know, he did, it was an enormous rookie year, but again, it was an FCS championship over lesser than NFL prospect talent. There are some people, and I am a big proponent of the FCS. You know, a lover of people like Charles Haley, who came from FCS, Jerry Rice. I went to a Division two school myself. My cousin Marcus went to Delaware. You know, there are some great players that come from. Victor Cruz comes to mention. John Taylor. A lot of people come from that, but predominantly in the newer age, the kids come from the bigger schools, the Power Five conferences, and we took them with this hope of having the prerequisite abilities and the traits and the skills that, you know, you're 6'4", you're big, you got a big arm, you're smart. I think I can just plug you in and it should work, right? But hey, man, it's a lot more to playing a quarterback than just looking the part and having a real big arm. You gotta it's like golf. You can go to driving range and you can knock them over the net. But when I put that scorecard in your pocket and you're doing $100 Nassau's, and that putting comes into play, and that short game comes into play, getting out of that trap comes into play, and you got to scramble. It's some different stuff going on there. It's a lot more to the NFL quarterback than just some prerequisite skills in terms of traits, in terms of what you look like. You can look like Tiger Woods all you play, but you come out there playing like Tiger Plastic. So yeah, that's what I got to say about it.
I think Trey Lance should stay in college and finish his college career so he could got better. So, but he came out of draft. He came in the draft too soon, and like he didn't get that much playing time in college. So I think he should finish his college ball first, and after that, come to the draft so he could got better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think.
That's indeed. That's indeed. You know, and he. I can't blame them for if franchises are coming to look at you and it's pro day and they think you got it. I can't tell them, hey, don't go and make this money, man. You know, 17 million or just wait a while. I can't blame any kid for that, man. Because if he were a scientist or a computer programmer and had an app to make this daggone StreamYard easier, which I love StreamYard. Thank you very much, StreamYard. Y'all are doing a wonderful job. But if you had an instantaneous app, which a kid can do at MIT or something, and they paid you millions of dollars, you would go and do it. If you're a concert pianist, you go and make your money doing it. If you're a great baseball player, they draft you and go AA. It's just, it's the NFL. It's very, very tricky. And there's a big expectation on a number one top pick quarterback. First round guys, we think of you as this. You got to come in here and be this.
Yeah.
And if you're not, that kid's a bust. He's never gonna make it. And we see some men turn it all around, just with a fresh organization, a new way of looking at things, a better coaching scheme, more patience, more time. more intellect, more knowledge. It just fits. Better wide receivers. You never know. The kid or better offensive line. You get a kid. You give anybody 3 or 4 seconds back there. I think I can get out there and complete a few passes if you give me about 3-4 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I come out here, put that helmet on. If they drop 5-6 million on me, I come out of retirement on y'all. Let me get some more of these super chats while y'all chop it up. 187 says Purdy. Hey, 187. Yeah, man. Purdy's been my guy. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I am not. I hate that we get into this thing to celebrate one means to cut down the other, and it is not like that. I love Trey Lance. I love what he's doing. I see what he's up against, and I want the best for him. But know and understand too that what Brock Purdy did last year was just really, really special. And I saw some real in my youth. I go back to seeing a number 16 have nimble feet like that and be present in the mind and just be prepared all the time with quickness and getting it out of his hands real quick and inventing stuff in the moment. And it just brings me back nostalgically to that guy who wasn't really, really big. The bigger quarterbacks of the day were Dan Fouts, John Elway, Dan Marino. There's another cat named Burt Jones. Terry Bradshaw was a big guy. But this little number 16 with those bird legs just could do it. And he just could run the offense really, really, really well. So that's just my little nostalgia. That's what I'd like to see. And then when I go to the numbers, I saw that people got better around him. And I don't have to blow out Trey's candles to make Brock Purdy's brighter. He just had an it factor to come in as a true rookie and just get the offense first day in the middle of Miami with some dogs coming down on him. It was just very impressive for me. Yeah. And then week after week after week, more than 30 points a game, because we used to bite our nails the year before and the year before that with Jimmy G, hoping and praying, oh my God, I hope Robbie Gould makes this kick, or I hope our defense can hold. Well, finally, I just had some breathing room. Remember when we played like Tennessee and I guess it was who else? Like Houston. We had some like Cincinnati and those teams, man. And your heart was hurting at the end of the game because you just barely won it, and you needed a kick at the end, and we might have beat them like 23-22 or 24-20. For the first time since Kyle has been here, I saw a guy putting up over 30 points every game. So, and he didn't look like I thought he would look, but I'm sure my wife might look at me and say he ain't look like I thought he would look, but I'll let him hang around. So let me get to Savage here. I want Donald and Lance as options if Purdy gets hurt. Purdy hurt. I want Donald QB1 and Lance QB2. That's what I thought the plan was there. 420 Savage, shout out to you. This all just hit me on the breaking news, and I put a banner down there, man. It came like, I guess it was 2 hours and 52 minutes ago. I was actually on TED Talks, or I wasn't on it. I was watching TED Talks, and he had Gina from Sports Laugh and Chill, and they were just kind of being courteous, saying, yeah, it's some new news. And Ted is the hugest Lance fan, and I thought they had breaking news about Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
So I'm just watching like Sam Sausage Head, and they go into it.
Yeah.
Well, we might as well tell them, yeah, looks like Trey is gonna do, he's been QB. I said, what? Let me go live. I said, dude, you're burying the lead. They were talking about something else. I'm like, what are you talking? This is the biggest news we've heard. And I went and it is true. And I ain't gonna share the screen. I'm just gonna say it came approximately 2.5 hours ago. Ian Rappaport reported with Tom Palisaro that Sam Darnold was named quarterback 2, and that would be for the season. Keywords.
Yeah.
And then approximately 30 minutes later, live, coach said that Trey Lance isn't even at practice today. He's not even in the facility. He's nowhere to be found.
Yep.
So that's when I said, let's stop. And I'm going live with some breaking news, and let my brethren just jump on here real quick. And again, I'm scheduled, and I'm about to wrap this up too, because I got to get ready for the East Coast Red and Go. I see Jesse is in the hizzle for shizzle. I'm gonna be with on that, and we're making our 53-man roster projections tonight, and that might get bumped too, Jess. So
and
it's like good live programming. It's like being at a network,
Yeah, I also got to go, but I want to say this last word before I go. And like a couple of weeks ago, like the writing was on the wall that Trey was not going to get to be the starter. So I said, all right, he's competing for the backup job. So it's going to be Purdy and Lance. Darnold is going to be there because of what happened in the NFC Championship game. So I was thinking that we're all going to keep these 3 guys. It didn't matter who was going to be backup, because the Niners don't want another situation like that to happen. And then the news came out. I was going to talk about Nick Bosa, like if he was going to be signed today, or talk about why he wasn't going to be signed. And then I say, you know what? Let me talk about this. And the writing was on the wall. And I saw an interview last week about a former executive who worked with Kyle's dad and Kyle when they were in the Commanders. And he said something that I think I forgot what it was. I'm going to go find it, and I'm going to pin it in my community tab, where when Kyle Shanahan changes his mind about anything about the offense, he's never going back to that old idea. So maybe at one point he wanted Trey Lance, and then he saw what Brock Purdy did, and he's like, you know what? I'm done with Lance. I'm going to close that door, and Brock Purdy's my guy. And after I heard that interview, it really, really opened up some doors. Is that maybe because of Jimmy getting injured in 2020 and what happened in 2018, they said, we need a quarterback that's better than Mullins and Beathard. And unfortunately, you go a couple of years down the line, and now another quarterback who we all thought was the future looks like that door is shut, and could be like Jimmy Garoppolo trying to start a new venture somewhere else. And whatever happens to Trey this year, if he's the third string quarterback for the entire season, if they put him on the practice squad or whatever, or he's inactive because they can't trade him, then that's what he's going to be doing. But if they are able to find a trade partner, they're going to try to get rid of him before the week 8, the trade deadline, in my opinion. And that's just the reality. It has nothing to do with what's going on in social media. We do have to look at it in a very perspective way and just understand. Kyle has made his mind up. And as a 49er fan, I've been a 49er fan since I can remember. I don't know exact what year. But I'm going to root for this team. I'm not going to be bashing Kyle, bashing Lance, bashing Purdy. because that's the easy thing to do. The smart thing is you want Purdy to succeed, because if you don't want him to succeed, you're saying I would rather fail with Purdy and be successful with Lance. I don't really like that mindset. So I'm going to root for whoever the quarterback is. That's my final thoughts. And Terra Dome, thanks for having me on.
Hey, John Jay, anytime.
Andre.
Anytime, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it. David, I'm getting ready to wrap it on up,
Yep.
man. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
You hit us up
agree
at
with
the
John
doctor's
Jay
office
saying.
and came on back. Go ahead, bro.
I agree with John Jay saying about the quarterback. Whoever's the quarterback, does when that week 1 against Pittsburgh, it's go time. No more messing around. So after that, I say go Niners. Thank you for having me. Like always, F those Rams.
F them Rams, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, man. All right, everybody. Let's reconvene. I'm gonna get a little something to eat, and then y'all can see me at over on Jess's. I think I'm gonna be simultaneously going to either one of our shows, and Brian Culp will be on with Tony Culp, and we're originally scheduled to talk about the 53-man roster, and I think today's breaking news does qualify in terms of that 53-man roster. So meet us on over on East Coast Red and Gold or the Terror Dome or the Culp Show, and we're gonna be there having a good time. And remember, we walk by faith and not by sight. In Jesus' name, thank y'all so much for coming on.